This regular board meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Texas Opens Meeting Act. Notice that this regular board meeting has been posted online for at least 3 business days prior to the meeting date. The time now is 5:35. And I will call this regular board meeting to order. I will now begin the roll call. Coach Mando Cuellar.
Present.
Mr. Ben Castillo.
Present.
Mr. Eddie Serna.
Present.
And Mr. Mark De Los Santos.
Present.
Ms. Sustaita will be here in a minute. She's in the back, so she'll be here. Dr. Jaime couldn't be here tonight, so we have a quorum today. Invocation, Dr. Rivera.
Yes, let me call on Mr. Carlos Robledo.
Let us bow our heads. Lord, we thank you for another beautiful day and a new school year and an opportunity to teach, guide, and inspire our young boys and girls in the community of Weslaco. We pray for our superintendent, Dr. Richard Rivera, our school board members, our administrators, staff, and our wonderful teachers. We pray for a safe school year, patience, clarity, and mental strength. We pray for those less fortunate than us, those that need healing, and we lift up the prayers that are deep in our hearts that only you know about. We also pray that out of the 105 years of this school district, that the 2026-2027 school year will be the greatest Weslaco ISD has ever experienced. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge of Allegiance and Texas Pledge, Dr. Rivera.
Mr. Dan Butterman.
Good evening. At this time, we'd ask everyone to please stand, place their right hand over their heart, and face the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'd ask everyone to remain standing, right hand over their heart, and face the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee. Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
We'll continue awards and recognitions and
Yes.
proclamations. Dr.
Mr. Carlos Robledo.
Yes, Board President Nieto, Dr. Rivera, members of the board, we start our presentation honoring students who represented Weslaco ISD at the state level this summer. How about a round of applause as they enter the room? Tonight, we are proud to announce that several high school students who recently returned from the prestigious Boys State and Bluebonnet Girls State conferences to be selected. Our students already demonstrated a strong academic performance and leadership skills. As delegates, these young men and women, ladies, learn how to organize government entities, form political parties, and run for office. These young ladies traveled to Texas Lutheran University in Seguin, June 14th through the 20th, and the young men attended the conference at UT Austin, June 7th through the 14th. Let's give them a round of applause. If their parents are here, can they please stand and be recognized, parents? Once again, congratulations. How about another round of applause for these students? Tonight, we honor several high school students who recently received academic recognition from the College Board Advancement Placement Program for their exceptional achievement on the AP exams. Our students enrolled in college-level courses while still in high school to earn college credit, advanced placement, or both. A small percentage of the millions of students worldwide who took the AP exams performed at a sufficiently high level to earn AP Scholar Awards. Congratulations to these students. If there are parents here, can they please stand and be recognized, parents? All right, we got some photos, and we're good. Congratulations, students, once again.
As they leave, of course, congratulations goes to the parents.
Okay,
And of course, Mr. Luciano Chano Garza for the delegates. He's been a sponsor. He was a delegate, I believe, in 1980, and he still serves on the boys delegate. But to the parents of all the AP scholars, congratulations.
All right, we'll continue. Tonight we celebrate members of the Weslaco High School Panther Corps. The Honors Wind Ensemble advanced to the prestigious TMEA State Honors Band, and for the first time since 1962, they received Honors Band. This is a competition that ultimately selects the state's premier 6A honor band. This remarkable achievement places our students among the finest band programs in Texas and marks a historic moment for Weslaco High School. This accomplishment is a testament to the dedication, talent, discipline, and countless hours of hard work demonstrated by our student musicians, directors, and staff. Their commitment to musical excellence has continued a tradition of pride and achievement that has inspired generations of Panthers. We extend our sincere congratulations to all band members, parents, and supporters who played a role in this success. Your passion, perseverance, and pursuit of excellence has brought great honor to Weslaco High School and the entire Weslaco community. Congratulations. We have another recognition here. We would like to congratulate Weslaco High School Athletic Program, which was recently recognized by the All Valley Sports Writers Association as the 2026 Program of the Year. All 22 Weslaco High School athletic programs advanced to the state playoffs with the following highlights: 9 district championships, 7 by-district championships, 1 area championship, 1 powerlifting state champion, 13 college signees, 31 academic all-state honorees. This program was also recognized as the highest-ranked 6A program in the UIL Lone Star Cup sports ranking. We congratulate the high-caliber coaching staff at Weslaco High School and our amazing student-athletes who continue to represent the Panthers and the Lady Panthers at the state level. Congratulations. Congratulations, Mr. Ornelas, Coach Roy Stroman, and all the coaches. Also tonight, Weslaco ISD was recently selected as the 2026 District of Distinction from the Texas Art Education Association, TAEA, for the 3rd year in a row. This year, 109 districts received this distinction out of 1,200 that were eligible to apply. Weslaco ISD received this honor for providing a well-rounded education that advocates and integrates visual arts curriculum to inspire creativity and build social emotional learning that connects learners to their community and beyond. Weslaco ISD submitted documentation and met the 14-point rubric over the 2025-2026 school year. Only 109 districts met the high standard and will receive the outstanding honor, indicating they are in the top 9% of art education of districts in the state. And tonight, we congratulate all of our district art teachers. Congratulations. Okay, up next, we want to recognize some of our school principals here tonight for their honors. We have our B-rated campuses and A-rated campuses that we want to honor this evening. So tonight, we want to recognize several of our schools for their tremendous success with the State of Texas Assessment of Academic Readiness exams. Our academic performance continues to increase, and tonight we want to recognize all our A and B rated campuses for the 2025-2026 school year. We'll start off with our B rated campuses. Congratulations to Tony Rico Elementary. Also B-rated campus, Airport Elementary. Also B-rated, Kleckler Held Elementary. Congratulations, B-rated Margot Elementary. We would also like to congratulate B-rated campus Ibarra Elementary. Also B-rated Cuellar Middle School. Congratulations, B-rated campus Central Middle School. Okay, these are our B-rated campuses. Do you want to take a photo of our B-rated campuses first? Congratulations.
Good job. Great job.
All right, let's bring out the A-rated banner as we recognize our A-rated campuses. All right, our A-rated campuses for the 2025-2026 school year. Congratulations, Memorial Elementary. A-rated campus, Raul Gonzalez Elementary. A-rated campus, Sam Houston Elementary. A-rated campus, South Palm Gardens High School. A-rated campus, Weslaco East High School. A-rated campus, Weslaco High School.
Great job.
Thank you for your support. Congratulations. Have a good year. Sir, 2 years in a row. Thank you. Congratulations.
Proclamations or?
Before we continue, I'd like some of the board members to, any comments on those ratings for our schools? I'll start with Jackie.
Thank you, Mr. Nieto. It was great to see in the first week of school, those of us who went by to different schools, the kids coming in happy, the staff smiling everywhere. We were talking amongst each other about how nice it was to just go and visit the campuses. We wish we could do it more often. We didn't have full-time jobs, all of us. But it was an amazing start to the school year. Everything was well prepared and organized, and I just want to thank each and every one of you for all the hard work and dedication that you and your staff have put into all that. It really does not go unnoticed, and great job. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
Coach Cuellar?
My sentiments exactly, and what we said, that speaks for itself right there. Outstanding job. Keep up the good work. We know that our challenges will continue, and the campuses that I was fortunate enough to visit, what an experience. Seeing all those youngsters out there all fired up and bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and lines lined up with people still enrolling, so that was very encouraging. Thank you for everything you do, Dr. Rivera, for keeping your staff, your puzzle, the puzzle you put together.
Thank you.
Outstanding job, and I can't thank you enough. It's beyond words. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
And of course, to each principal, congratulations to not only you, but the teachers that are in there every single day, you know, and of course, the rest of you staff members that assist you during the year. And I know the A's and the B's, awesome. We still have a couple of C's, and I guarantee you those will come up to B's that were close to B's. And there was actually several B's that were close to A's. So next year, you know, we expect more A's, more B's, and no C's at all, and no D's. So take it back and let your staff know that all of us here at Wesco, Dr. Rivera, all the board members, will assist you in any way we can to help you continue the progress that you have made. And especially the high schools, that's difficult to get an A. You know, not every high school gets an A. And Dr. Gamboa and Mr. Ornelas, commend your staff because they did a wonderful job this past year. Thank you. Mr. Of course, oh yes, I always forget Mrs. Tina also. Also, they did excellent there. But how many years in a row already? 6 years in a row. Wow. Congratulations. Mr. Ben Castillo?
Ms. Wells, I just want to tell you how great of a job you're doing. Congratulations to all. It's so uplifting, you know, to see, the accountability ratings that we got this year. It was just so very, very proud. All the elementaries, all the high schools. And I can tell you one thing, there's not very many districts that can say all of their high schools are A's.
Yes.
And so that's
Correct.
thanks to the work of you guys as principals, to your teachers, to the parents. So thank you very much to the elementaries. Thank you for a great first week of school. I know it was tough. My little boy is probably one of the ones that gave you the hardest kind of problems. But thank you for being so loving and welcoming and letting the parents know that it's going to be okay, including me. So thank you guys for all of your hard work. Appreciate you very, very much. And anything that we can do here to help you, all you guys got to do is ask. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo.
Yeah, I just want to also just say what Jackie was saying earlier about attending schools and going to see all the, kids that first week. It was really, really nice to be out there. But I also want to recognize the campuses also that not only the letter grades, but the campus distinctions.
Yep.
That's another thing that,
Mrs.
very impressive.
Mrs. Solano is going to present those in a little while, but
Oh,
go
you
ahead.
are?
Yeah,
I
but
want
still.
to recognize that. And-
Of course.
and If you were doing batting averages, I think some of our campuses hit 1,000, right?
Yes.
6 out of 6. And you're going to talk about it?
Yes.
Fantastic.
But
So
that's
no,
great.
good shout out to all the campuses with the distinctions. I know we had 5 out of 6 with some of the elementaries, but 6 out of 6 is pretty impressive.
Correct.
Definitely.
Mr. Los Santos?
Yes. Congratulations to all the campuses, for all the hard work. The trophy's truly yours. You, your staff, all the departments, everybody that plays a part in that role to be successful. Weslaco ISD, like I've always said out loud, and I say it proudly, is second to none. And realistically, when you look at all the students that we serve, regardless how they walk through our doors or whatever challenges that they have, you all and your staff work so hard to make them successful. You really do. I see the cars in the parking lot. I see people there after hours. I see the people on the weekends. You see everybody working hard. So congratulations to you all, and especially as well too over here. I'm gonna highlight not only the department and the staff there and the parents and the students, but also here at the executive level. You all do a great job too, as far as keeping on top of what's going on and continuing to push what the community wants, which is just success for all their kids. And all of you all together, just outstanding job. And thank you for everything you do, because my kids walk through those doors as well. And I really do appreciate each and every single one of you all. Thank you all.
Thank you. And of course, a special thank you to each board member for taking the opportunity to visit campuses this past week, like Mrs. Jackie mentioned, and of course, Coach Serna mentioned. There were some that we haven't attended yet, but we're still going to attend. So if we haven't gone to your school this coming week or even the next week, we'll make the time to go by there and welcome the kids, talk to the staff, and of course, start this 2026 school year. So board members, thank you for visiting, and we'll continue. Thank you. Public comments? None?
I need to finish do the proclamation real quick.
You still have the proclamations. Go ahead.
And then
Go
also,
ahead.
Coach Roy Stroman is here, the athletic coordinator at Weslaco High School. So we want to give him a round of applause for RGV Program of the Year. All right,
So
proclamation.
now he's here. Now we can say, Coach Stroman, congratulations on an outstanding season this past year, but actually the last couple of years. And of course, all the programs at Wesco High School, your leadership there have guided all those programs to do really, really well. And of course, at East too. But this particular year, you're the one recognized, Coach Stroman. Congratulations.
Okay, proclamation. Weslaco Independent School District has a long-standing tradition of excellence in striving to bring together all resources to provide our students and staff with the best opportunities for success. To that end, Weslaco ISD acknowledges and celebrates initiatives, departments, and organizations that join in our efforts to develop, expand, and enrich our learning environment for students, parents, and employees. Therefore, Isidoro Nieto, President of the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees, does hereby proclaim September 2026 as National Suicide Prevention Month, National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. We also proclaim in September 2026 National Security Appreciation Week, September 1st through the 25th in Weslaco ISD, and urge all citizens to recognize with appreciation our district's commitment to educating and helping our children achieve their highest potential. Written and signed by Isidoro Nieto, President, WISD Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Public comments. Do we have any?
There are none.
Okay. Thank you. Number 7, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Rivera.
Yes. I'm going to report on the enrollment for the first week of school. And I think you have the slides in front of you. And elementary, the ones in red are the ones that have a lower enrollment than last year. Then the ones in blue and green are the ones that have a little higher. So total, the 10 elementary schools, you can see on the bottom, that we're, compared to last year, we're at a minus 224. And you can see school by school, Sam Houston, from last year, a minus 4. Rudy Silva, a minus 36. Gonzalez, a plus 22. Margot, a minus 113. Airport, a minus 5, again compared to last year. Memorial, exactly the same. Northbridge, a minus 75. Rico, a minus 13. Collector Hill, a minus 19. And Ibarra, a minus 19. So again, for the first week, compared to last year, we're at minus 224. But we're getting kids every day. And I want to make sure our principals are aware that we cannot turn kids back. When they come to us, we need to enroll them. On page 2, this is the middle school compared to last year. Again, the red is where it's lower, the green a little higher. On the bottom, you can see in the middle schools compared to last year, we're at a minus 24. And Mary Hogue, compared to last year, we're at a minus 56. At Cuellar, a plus 6. A Central, a minus 23. And B Garza, a minus 49. As the board knows, as we have enrollment, the first week, we had to change teachers from one campus to another because some were overstaffed, some were understaffed. So as of now, we took care of that. On page 3, these are the high schools. Compared to last year, all 4 schools were at a minus 28. Career and College, we're at a plus 3. South Palm Gardens, a plus 5. We're a little lower at Weslaco East compared to last year, a minus 138. Weslaco High School, a plus 86. JJAP +5, and the boot camp a -9. On the last page I have in the presentation is the total enrollment. Compared to last year, we're at a -276. And some of the reasons, these are not all the reasons, but these are some of the reasons why the enrollment is less. We've had new kids to the district, also lost some. So the factors, the vouchers, at TEA, there were 150 vouchers from Weslaco that were submitted. I cannot give you the exact amount today of all the ones, the actual that were submitted. I will give you later on through an update, the actual number of kids that actually enrolled in other schools. Number two, because of the immigration enforcement, the issues there, we know that for sure we had 36 that were here last year that did not return, and again, for different reasons, mostly the immigration enforcement is what's happening. And then homeschool, we have 50, and then the cohort, some of the grades, especially in the pre-K 1, 2, and 3, we have less compared to the next grade. We have fewer kids enrolled in that particular grade. What we are doing to address the enrollment is, as you all are aware, for the past 2 years, we were overstaffed, and as the enrollment goes down, we have reduced our teachers for the last 2 years. Proud to say that we have not closed schools. There are many districts that have closed schools. We have not. We have no intention to closing schools. We've got a good, healthy fund balance. There are needs that occur throughout the school year that we're going to address, whether it's supplies, whether it's to hire more specialized teachers, whatever it is. I will come back to you with any issues that we have and how we can correct that issue. And again, the last one, very important to all of us, is that no staff member lost their jobs. If they left the district, they left, but no one that was here, we did not reduce staffing. So again, very proud of this. I know the board stressed to me all the time just to make sure that everyone that was here last year did not lose their job. So this is my report. I don't know if you have any questions on the presentation, but I'm here with staff to answer this.
I have one question on the vouchers. Those, the vouchers, I know they just came into play. How many of those students were homeschooled, or how many actually went to other districts? Or the majority went to other districts?
Yeah, so information, the only thing we received literally coming from TEA or Region 1 was that 150. Again, some of them may have been homeschooled, some of them may be new, that they've never been in WISD, but that's just a number we received.
Okay. Mrs. Stecta? I know that Mrs. Stecta had mentioned before to me, now that we start talking about students, about if possible POs for teachers that had spent a lot of money on school supplies or whatever. So, Dr. Vera, Mrs. Stecta?
Yes, I believe it's going to be an item for the August 24th board meeting. Dr. Rivera was going to look into the budgets and stuff like that to see what he could do. But I know that it would go a long way for the teachers, for all the teachers. I know we had said, well, just elementary or all the grade levels, but I know that every classroom is important. The environment in there, it's elementary, middle, and high school are all important. So even if it was like 100, 150, I remember a long time ago when I was teaching here, we would get those little POs and it would help. So if anything can be done, it would be greatly appreciated for the teachers and the POs for their classrooms. So that was one.
We'll take a look at it.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on the presentation?
I guess I begin, or do you want to begin?
I'm starting with you.
Okay.
I'm going to start over there in a little while.
Okay, sounds good. I wrote down the numbers for the elementary, middle school, high school, and I know right now our enrollment for this first week is 15,466. But what do we have the ADA set at again with the budget?
14,000.
14,000.
14,000. Okay, so right now we're 1,466 above from what we budgeted, which is a good thing. Okay, now my second question is, because we were at the schools and I saw that pre-K 4 had an overall decline in enrollment. And it was hard for some of the kids. And I went in there and picked one up and was carrying him, and the mom was there, and I was back in teacher mode again the first couple of days of school too. But I know that some of the classes are pretty full. You know, we've all been aware of that. We've been told it's gonna take time till we have an exact number of how many kids are in the classrooms. How much longer are we going to wait to see, okay, we have to open up another classroom to put these kids in? How much longer are we going to wait? Because they're there right now, like today. How much longer do we have to wait?
I think the adjustments were made during the week as far as certified teachers. As far as counts very high, we're not made aware of that. If we have any classes that are very, very high, can we need to make adjustments?
Yes, sir, and good evening, ma'am and trustee. So throughout the week, principals submitted, even just before, right, since we started July, the third week of July, they submitted counts, registration counts. For some campuses still look different than on their first day physical counts, right? We did have an influx of registration, late registrations the Friday before the first day of school or the day of the first day of school. So for those campuses that, for example, where we opened up classrooms, it was mainly pre-K because they register late. So a lot of the new babies, mamas wait, especially the 3-year-olds, to see if, you know, they're matured by the time August hits, but also to, some of them also wait for potty training, or they will continue daycare or home, right? But all of them were addressed that first week. On the first day, some principals made the decision to open up an additional pre-K classroom based on the high numbers. But other principals did want to wait a little bit more and ask for extra assistance in the class. So instead of 2 adults, 3, right? Because they didn't feel that opening a new classroom was right now at this point valid just for the overage of 2 classrooms, right? It still didn't make another class. So some principals, the principals had the discretion to either get additional support in the classroom and wait to see if their numbers continue to increase, or opened up a classroom.
Now, I'm just going to give you my experience, my I statement. Right. As a teacher, I taught first and second, never pre-K. But walking in there, the kids everything is new, right? So even if you have 2, 3, 4 adults in there that are helping, it's a little crazy when you have 27, 28, 20, I don't know how many we have, 26 in one classroom of little babies. And as much help as you get, it becomes even fuller and fuller and fuller in that classroom. And the walls kind of start closing in on you. I see that it doesn't help, in my experience of what I've seen, to have the room so crowded. So I went into some scholarly articles, and I was looking for, does class size really matter? Because some studies say yes, it does. Some studies say no, it doesn't. And I found one that was very interesting, and it says here, I'm just going to read it real quick. Let me see. Academic engagement and social engagement no, not that one, sorry. Academic engagement and social engagement are strongly related to academic performance. When a student is not engaged in learning, she or he is less likely to acquire the material presented. When antisocial behavior disrupts the teacher or other students' learning is impeded. So it's not so much, they're not, it's the social environment of it. They're babies, they don't know, they get scared when they see other babies crying too, you know? So that's the things that I worry about right now, but I'm trusting that you guys are going to get the help that's needed, or get a classroom, another teacher that's needed, because of that social, emotional space that those kids.
Most definitely. Every day our office studies the numbers to ensure, and principals know that the minute they feel they need to open up a classroom, right, they do reach out to our offices for support and guidance.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, and I just want to reiterate that, I want to make sure you guys feel, confident enough or not scared to ask things, because I know some people tell me it's because I don't want to ask, but I said, hey, that's what we're here for. That's what all of us are here for. We're in this together. So just don't be scared to ask, or ask one of us if you feel like you don't know who to turn to, the administrator. Let us know, please. Thank you. And that was all my questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Ustaita. Coach Quinn?
On the enrollment, last board meeting, I asked the question as to where we were at with the enrollment. We're at 85%. Since then, how much of that 85% have we closed and narrowed closer to 100%?
I would say so that was the registration numbers at the time, Coach. That number has climbed considerably. And again, we continue to go through, but again, we are seeing that trend where our enrollment is declining. As Dr. Rivera shared, we are seeing in a lot of the primary areas with our numbers, you're just not seeing the larger cohorts through the lower grade levels.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you, Coach Grant. I know that I had the opportunity to walk into a couple of campuses, and one of the first ones that I happened to walk in was Margot, and it was fifth grade. And in fifth grade, those couple of classes had 28, 27, 26. It was a team. And again, it's the first week of school. They're going to make adjustments, but that's something to look at there too. I happened to walk at Mary Hogue Middle School, and the science class, one of my former teachers had 32 students. And I walked in, I said, oh, that's a pretty big class. But she was doing the best job that she could do. And of course, the principal there will work on leveling off the numbers. And there was a couple of other campuses that also had a high number. But again, a system, and very, Jackie mentioned about the numbers, it's very important. But the principals will work with that. So principals, when you walk in there, check, find out, do the best you can, and of course, reach out to central office, Dr. Rivera, and the staff to see what they can do to help you out. All right?
Thank you.
Mr. Ben Castillo?
Yes, I just want to say I agree with Trustee Staita and Board President Nieto with respect to that. Part of the LSG, we see the progress of the lower grade levels, and it all starts with pre-K 3 and 4. And so, and I know it's a shock. I'm dealing with one at home right now. And, but yeah, anything we can do to help to kind of accommodate them and to make sure that our first, second, third, fourth, and fifth graders are supported as well moving forward. Whatever we can do there, Doc, just to make sure that it's not too crowded or that it's conducive to learning.
Will do. Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Coach Serna?
Yeah, well, no, the only thing I have is just, I know some of the campuses have permanent subs. Are we addressing that? Are we?
So as of this week, Coach, the permanent subs are only on, for employees who are like an FML
Okay.
status
FMLA.
due to medical leave,
Okay,
but
good.
not because of a vacancy unless the vacancy is barely
Recent?
coming up, right?
Okay, gotcha. Okay, no, just permanent subs. And then I did go see B. Garza, and it was, walked into a class of 36 students.
Oh, what?
And I had a little talk to that class and to the teacher, and I said, well, join the crowd, because I did that one year at the high school.
Yeah.
With 36, and
Who allowed you to have 36 at the high school?
some principal there. But they told me, you're doing such a great job, so we're gonna put another. So I told the teacher there at B. Garza, I said, you must be doing a great job. Because that's what they told me back in the day. But anyway, hey, he was good. But
Good.
yeah, B. Garza is, and I noticed their enrollment's pretty much up there for
Yeah.
middle school, so.
Yeah. And since Coach Senna did such an awesome job, every year I allow him to have 35 in the class. Is that it, Mr. Senna?
Nah, that's it.
Okay, but you did a good job. All right, I commend you. All right, Mr. Los Santos?
No, same concerns and sentiments as far as, I understand the enrollment issue and maybe those vouchers. What can we do to go back and reach out to those parents and see if we can maybe change their minds and bring them back through our doors? And the other one would be the high enrollment in classrooms. I see it because we approve hires, right?
Right.
So I see the list of hires and people see the job postings online. But that's something we need to look at is kind of relieving teachers, right? If we can create positions here, our most critical area is really in the classroom. And it's true, that's just automatic, it's out there, there's research and everything, but everybody knows lower class numbers, more effective, more time for intentional instruction, differentiation instruction, time for the teacher to plan even appropriately, because they're not overwhelmed with just the size of that classroom. And so maybe if you all can look at that, okay, like, and especially at the secondaries as well too, that are overwhelmed, those junior highs and whatnot, if they have the space and there's classrooms
Right.
available, and hey, we can pick up additional teachers, relieve some of those critical testing areas as well, you'd probably see even a greater jump. So that's kind of what I would look at, reevaluate the current investments you're making in staffing levels to those that are like in the classroom and directly impact students.
Good points, Mr. Los Santos, and of course, from every other board member. Any other final?
I just remembered one thing.
Okay.
I just remembered because Mr. Castillo was mentioning to me that one of his babies was sick last week, and I know it's the beginning of the year. Kids are getting germs all over them again and getting little sicknesses. As far as nurses, I know there had been an item before in our previous meetings where something about the nurse was going to be, I don't know, shared within 2 campuses. If a nurse has resigned or retired, have we already filled all those positions so that our kids are safe at the school?
The campuses, there's 2 campuses with a permanent sub-nurse. They already went through interviews,
Okay.
Ms. Sustaita,
Okay.
to recommend. Right.
So
We
they'll
left
be
it at
getting
the
a-
campus discretion to form that committee so that they could recommend their hire.
So are we approving them tonight?
I'm
head-
not sure if they submitted for
The
tonight.
head nurse, we're gonna approve tonight.
The nurse coordinator replacing Ms. Kaufman is for tonight, for sure.
Okay, but not the campus ones.
I'm not sure that the other 2.
I'm not sure about the campus.
But if you can, for the next board meeting on Monday,
Right.
they can bring it back, you know, if they haven't approved.
Yes, because having a school, I mean, I know the LVNs are there, but
Right.
we need an RN at every school.
And actually,
That's the
Mrs.
utmost priority.
Staita, Dr. Rivera can.
Our
approve
sub-nurses
those.
Are
are
certified RNs.
RN.
Oh, okay, so there's a
Yes, yes, they
certified
are.
sub-nurse?
They
that-
are.
Okay,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's good to know.
And
So
since-
then, whenever next meeting.
Since it's beginning of the school year or school week, Dr. Rivera can approve those and just provide the names at the next board meeting.
Okay,
Right?
sounds good, as long as we have somebody.
Yes.
That's good.
Correct. Okay. Presentations, item 8, disaster pennies declaration. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, let me call on Dr. Miguel de los Santos to make this presentation.
We don't have a formal presentation. Miguel de los Santos with Estrada Hinojosa. I'm replacing Angel Magallanes this evening. He's in El Paso someplace, walking up and down mountains or something like that. What's before you this evening, and the reason that it seems a little late, you know, saying, why are we being pushed to approve this so quickly, consider and approve this so quickly? And we just did not get the final compress rate, maximum compress rate from the state. So we couldn't run numbers for you without that to see how that was gonna fall, and then we would be able to give you some tax rates to consider. We've been talking to the staff about it. We do this as service to school districts. I mean, this is not one of the items that we get paid for. We do it as a service to our clients because there's an opportunity for a school district to, bring in more money in the M&O side, which is very tough because the state has compressed you. You can only do so much and then not only that, compressed, and then in some cases, values are going down because of the exemptions that were given over the last few years and so on. So what the bottom line is, after we got these numbers, we ran two scenarios. One scenario will get you the maximum amount that is on the table, the TEA will give you on the M&O side, and that would bring in about $5 million into your M&O side. The $5 million, that particular scenario though, is 5.3 cents. 3 of those cents would be a tax rate increase. The second scenario, and really what we're looking for so that we could say to you, you have an opportunity to bring in about $2.2 million for no tax rate increase. In other words, your tax rate will remain exactly where it is right now. And that is for 1 year only, and this is this year, because the previous year, this area was declared a disaster area by the governor because of the storms and the rain and so on that we had last spring. So this is an opportunity to bring in a couple of $1 million or $5 million or whatever you want. You have an option up to 5 cents or 2.2 cents if you choose to follow through with something like that, and bring in an additional $2.2 million. The only other way to access those cents, in other words, this is a time when you're given an opportunity to do this without having a voter-authorized tax ratification election. Call it a VATER. Call it a TRE. You might remember TRE in the past. So when we have a disaster declaration by the governor, you're able to raise the tax a little bit in order to bring in enough money to take care of at least some of the damages that you had. I do understand that some of the damages have been documented from that storm, that you may want to consider it. It all depends on what your appetite is. I don't know what your political climate is in terms of raising a tax rate. So it just depends on what your appetite is for. Do we go for $2 million or for $5.5 million? And, you know, weighing the tax rate and so on. I believe the tax rate has been already posted, and we encourage that the posting be for the maximum amount, because we didn't know what we were going to present to you, and we didn't know the direction that the board would want to take. So as a consequence, once you post a tax rate, you can't come down. I mean, you can't go up anymore.
Correct.
But you can come down. So we post it high, and you say, well, we don't want to do anything. I mean, you just go to the bottom. We want to do $2.2 million. Then you leave the tax rate right where it is. And we want to go higher, but you know, there's a gap in there. You could say, well, we just want to go up 1 penny or 2 pennies, and but the maximum that you're available for is $5.7 million. That's kind of it in a nutshell without doing a big presentation or anything.
Thank you, Mr. Are you finished?
I'm sorry? Yes, sir?
Are you finished? Thank you. You know what, with the economy the way it is, I think it would benefit us, and this is my opinion. I'm not talking about all board members. The 2 cent would be probably the best bet right now. You know, with the economy being so high in every area, where we're not gonna have to increase the tax rate, but that's my opinion. Mr. Los Santos, any questions for Mr. De Los Santos?
Yeah, just a little bit more clarification on the 2 pennies. You said that the 2 pennies would be, it's only for 1 year, right? It would, and what are we kind of giving up there? What are we sacrificing as a district, or, because I kind of missed that. I didn't get it when you were presenting. So that's just a free option that we have, doesn't affect us at all in any way, and we get $2 million for 1 year.
You get $2.2 million for 1 year without affecting your tax rate. It'll be exactly what it is right now, and I forget what it is. It's 90-some cents total tax rate.
Okay, well, and we're not going to reduce our own current tax rate or anything like that?
No, in fact, you'll be gaining $2.2 million.
Okay, and for 1 year only? Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, because I'm in agreement, I mean.
The copper pennies?
Yeah, the copper pennies, well, we're not giving those up or anything, we're just going to cash in on them, that's it?
Correct.
Okay.
You're picking up
Right.
2.7. You might want to ask the question a different way.
Okay,
Where are you getting the 2.7 cents, or the it's not 2.7, I think it's 2.3 or 2.
I think it's
2.4. The 2.4 or the 2 point some cents are from a compression that came in from the state.
right,
They compressed your tax rate. Last year you were at a level of 61 cents, or I forget the amount, but anyway, they said, we're going to take you lower by 2.36 cents. What we bring to the attention of staffs is, look, keep those 2.36 cents in there and generate for 1 year $2.2 million. Or give them up, lower your tax rate by 2.36 cents.
okay. So I see that, so that's the other portion, where you'd lower it. If you give up the 2.2 million, their tax rate would be dropping.
That is correct.
But what we're doing is taking away the drop.
Correct.
That is correct.
Right.
And remember that drop.
I was kind of figuring something has to give, you know, the
Drops are
state's not
very
going to give you
difficult to bring
money for
back
free
up.
for 1 year.
You know.
It's just tough because the only reason, sir, I'm really tough on this one. It's because I know we have a recurring financial deficit, right? I understand that it's coming, and anything would help right now. But our community also is dealing with an appraisal district that is raising appraisals very high. And I think the last time I looked into it, and correct me if I'm wrong later, But I know that we did have an increase in values, and then that had like an effect of like maybe to around 2 million or a little bit over 2 million of additional revenue because of that. And so our taxpayers are kind of getting hit by that already, you know. So it's a real tough decision. I think, I guess I'll wait for the majority of the board to see what they decide, but yeah, because when one, we're increasing their taxes, that's the 5 million. The other one, the 2 million, means that we don't lower their taxes, which
Correct.
the state is recommending to lower.
Correct.
That's correct.
But you know what, that's a good point there, Mr. Los Santos, and the appraisal levels, they have increased.
Yeah.
And of course, people are paying more taxes.
Right.
On their properties.
And I think that affects even formula-based funding, doesn't it, for school districts with rising pricing values? And that's another thing too, like I see her shaking her head, right, our CFO there. That's something else too, that Valley districts need to reach out. When we vote for all those appraisal officers and things like that, we need to identify that, well, sometimes when you're going up too much and just raising costs, you're also reducing funding or assistance from the state because they see you as a district, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, that has more value.
Correct.
So there's a lot of things affecting us right now. So, but I'll wait for see what the majority says or if they want to bring it back.
Thank you. Coach Serna, any questions or comments? Mr. Ben Castillo?
Yes, I have a couple. Could I ask Mr. Rodriguez some questions?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Rodriguez, what was our tax rate last year on the M&O side?
Last year on the M&O side, it was 0.7291.
7291. And what was the MCR for this year calculated?
For this year, it was 0.5933.
Oof, 45953. And then the no new revenue tax rate?
Well, 5.9 is the maximum amount of tax rate that you're going to be able to assess to raise the same amount, I believe, that you did last year.
So it would be 0.5953, so that would be the no new revenue.
Yeah.
Man, they compressed us a lot, from 72
Yeah.
cents to,
2.36 cents is a lot.
so then the disaster pennies, what you're proposing is, we would still have to adopt the disaster pennies resolution to keep it at the same level as this past year.
That's correct. Correct. Yeah, you would be, in other words, instead of an election, you would be accessing these pennies through a resolution.
Yeah, well, I think we have to get on the same page on that, because once we go past the no new revenue tax rate, you need a supermajority to pass that. It's not just 4, you need 5. And so I was just wondering what that threshold is.
We'll help you identify that number.
Right, it's 5, not 6, right? It's 5?
I'm sorry?
It's 5, for 2/3 of this board, it's 5?
Yeah, supermajority is 5.
Yeah.
It's a tough call, just like Mr. Nieto says. I mean, the economy's tough, the burden on our taxpayers is tough as well. The 2 cents, do we know what the impact on the taxpayer would be generally?
On the average residence right now, it's actually a decrease of $188.
Even if we were to keep the same tax rate as last year?
Same tax rate. That's an average residence based on what was provided to us from the appraisal district.
So the homestead,
Correct. Average taxable value of residences right now is $55,414.
what if we were to do the whole amount?
I'm sorry?
If we were to do the whole amount, what would that be?
5.6.
Yeah, or all the pennies, right? It's 3 pennies?
Okay. The 5, yeah.
Oh, he's talking about going for the maximum amount.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just asking what
Well,
what it would be on the tax
That
rate.
would actually be a decrease to the taxpayer of $170, so a difference of about $18.
So either way, it would be a decrease than what they paid last year. Okay. This is on the agenda for the 24th?
Yes, for next
For the
next
next
Monday,
one.
yes.
something to think about and discuss and be prepared to vote on that resolution.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir.
Got it? Coach Kraft, any
No, I
questions?
mean,
comments?
you've addressed everything about as well as you can, so.
Yeah. Mr. Ustaita? Any questions on the tax rate?
I'm over here asking AI to explain what disaster pennies are, 'cause I'm trying. I just Google and it's like, do you want the AI mode? But anyway, it says here the trigger mechanism. I'm trying to figure out. So it has to like all come together. There has to be a disaster. The president has to issue a federal disaster declaration.
Which they did.
And then the governor has to also, but okay, so they have this money to give us, right? You're saying that the disaster pennies, it's coming from the taxes that people are paying?
Yes. No.
Okay, I'm confused.
The disaster pennies, school districts that have done TREs, we used to call it a TRE, it's a VATR, a voter authorized tax ratification election. What that means is that above the 59 cents that she's talking about, that is your maximum compressed tax rate, you're allowed another 17 cents. You can go up 17 cents. 8 of those pennies you already have. We know them as golden pennies. They bring in a lot of money. The other 9 are called copper pennies. You have 3 or 4 cents of that. So you're eligible for that 5.36 or whatever it is that I mentioned. You're eligible for that much to go up to your 17 cents, okay? You couldn't do that without going out for an election, except when there is a disaster and the governor has declared a disaster in South Texas, then you're able to access those 5 pennies without going out for a vote for 1 year only. The intent of that disaster relief pennies is to help school districts that had damages, wind damages or rain damages through the storm. That's why I call it disaster relief. Then from those $2.2 million, it's assumed that a large portion of that will go to your buildings. Otherwise, it comes out of your general M&O fund. Makes it a little tough for you. I don't know if I made any sense. I confused myself.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, so every year the state compresses our tax rate.
Right.
But because there was a disaster, the governor declared a disaster, then he asked for assistance from the president. Those are the 2 triggering things. And now we have the ability to declare disaster as a board and access those 3 extra pennies
Correct.
without going through a voter-approved tax ratification election. That's
And
available.
it's only for 1 year.
And it's only for 1 year.
And their taxes won't increase.
They will increase
And they will by 3 cents.
by 3
Yep.
cents.
If we go this max.
If you go for the 5 million, yes.
But yeah, there's
But
an
if you
option
go,
too.
yes, if you leave the tax rate exactly the same way it is right now, and you vote this on Monday of next week, we keep the same tax rate, but we get 2.2 million more, keeping the same tax rate as it is right now.
I mean, I like that because we don't move the tax rate. You know, our community is already paying what they're paying and we don't have to increase it and there's still 2.2
2.2
million.
million.
It would be less than what they paid last year because of the homestead exemption increase,
Correct.
Which is good for them.
even if we went for the full 3 cents. But if we don't go for any of it, they would have a decrease of 2 cents.
Right, their tax will go down.
Their taxes would go down 2 cents. So that's why I say it's tough.
Yeah. I'm giving you my recommendation, is to go ahead and leave the tax rate exactly the way it is, which is one of the lowest in Region 1. Keeping it the same way, we still get 2.2 million more on these disaster pennies.
That's
So
correct.
that's what I'm gonna recommend to the board on Monday of next week. Keep the tax rate exactly the way it is. Not increase it. We could increase it, 2-3 pennies and get 5.5 million more, but I don't wanna go that route. Because right now, the economy is what it is. We've got all these issues, and I'd rather go ahead and just keep the tax rate the same as it is right now. No increase.
And this-
But we get 2.2 million more because of the disaster.
And that would be added to the general fund? Or is there a certain thing you can do with this money if you get it? Like, what would that money be used for? Anything the district wants?
Anything, yes, whatever we need it for.
Well, you put it toward the deficit. I mean,
Yes.
that helped knock it
Yeah.
down.
Yes.
Okay.
It's added to your
Anything
general
else?
fund, and then from there, you'll probably be using some of those monies, probably a considerable amount, to help you with whatever you have to fix.
I think just at the next meeting, just if we could have everything on a graph and present it, option A, option B, or C, or whatever options that what these trustees want, and that way our community can see it.
And
That
the,
way
and
they
the
get a
impact
clear
to the
understanding.
taxpayer as well,
Yes.
as compared to last year. I think people are going to need to know exactly what the decision the board
Okay.
makes and how it impacts them directly.
Right.
So Dr. Rivera will have that information for us for the next board meeting.
Yes, on Monday of next week.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Los Santos. Let's continue on, Frontier Direct Care, Dr. Rivera.
Yes, let me call on Dr. Cantu
Yeah.
to make the presentation
What is that from?
with the consultant and with the firm, Frontier.
Frontier?
Yes, sir, and before we bring up Mr. Joe Wilson with Frontier Direct Primary Care, I just wanted to do a quick introduction and the district's ongoing efforts to reduce costs while maintaining or even increasing healthcare benefits for our employees. We want to explore a new model for direct care. What we have, for the last couple of years, we've been having excess costs and claims being paid out of fund balance, as you all well know. And on several occasions, we've had board members asking for us to find options, try to think out of the box. Doing the same thing over again that we've done in the past isn't going to work. So we're bringing this option to you because it has a lot of benefits for the employees. And I really want to lead with that because having this partnership with Frontier Direct Primary Care, employees would have more options. They'd be able to choose whether they want to use United Healthcare or if they want to use this members-only clinic Frontier, or even choose to use both. It's not a replacement. If somebody already has a good relationship with their primary care physician, they don't have to leave that. They can continue with the United Healthcare. But they may also have an emergency that they say, okay, instead of going to the emergency room, maybe Frontier can see me right away and they can get in and take care of their little ones or whatever they need. This would be at no cost to the employees in terms of no co-pays, no deductibles. There's nothing that they would have to meet first so that the insurance would kick in. This is a really members-only clinic. WISD eligible employees and dependents would be able to access that as a members-only appointment. There are pharmacy benefits, generic medications prescribed at zero through local and direct partnerships, so the employee wouldn't pay anything for those medications either. And even if they need to be referred out to maybe an x-ray or they have to go see a specialist, if they're partnered with Frontier, those referrals, the employee wouldn't have to meet any deductibles either. They wouldn't have to meet any co-pays, so that would be a lot of benefits for the employee. For the district, we're looking at a cost and benefit analysis, right? Essentially, the cost would be for all insured employees and covered dependents at $70 membership per month. That's approximately $2.6 million per year. But the savings of our current estimated $27 million budgeted for healthcare claims and administrative fees, the district would spend less reduced total healthcare costs by utilizing Frontier's direct contracts and reference-based pricing versus claims through the United Healthcare. Of course, this is according to Frontier. When we sat down and took a look at the details, there's a lot of potential for savings according to Frontier. And with that, I would like to introduce Mr. Joe Wilson that will be covering his presentation for the clinic.
Quick question, Dr. Cantu.
Yes, sir.
So you made sure to emphasize according to Frontier, so we haven't done our own analysis on it yet?
Well, I have, but looking at it from working with One Digital, it's very beneficial. It has a lot of promise, but it's also one of these that we have to depend on a return on investment, right? We're going to be investing $2.6 million, but then we are counting on a return for investment. The more utilization that we have, and we're shooting for at least 30 to 40% utilization right off the bat, that's when we really start to see really the trend line decrease. And I think Mr. Wilson will be showing those things, but when Sean took a look at it with One Digital, he sent an email to us, to me, and I forwarded it to administration because it looks very promising.
Quick question for teacher there. How many What did you get back as far as a survey on staffing? Did you survey staff? I'm sorry, I'm under the weather. Did you survey staff? Did
No,
you
sir.
have committees or anything like that to
No, sir.
get feedback?
We haven't presented this yet to the Employee Benefit Committee. We're looking at not this Friday, but the following Friday. We're also trying to combine it for the voluntary products and the servicing agents. So all of that presentation would go out to the Benefit Committee. But it's something that,
I'd like to go further than the benefit committee. I mean, there's a lot of software that's free that you can survey staff. I mean, where I work, they survey staff all the time. Because this is something that's completely different. One is benefits that we give them that they use as needed, and this one we're buying for them, assuming that they're going to use it, and we're paying an upfront cost and a big one. So I'd like for myself, speaking on behalf of myself, I'd like to survey staff in general. I understand not everybody's going to open the link, but I think a small presentation on what this is and would they, just like you gave us, would they even use it?
yes, sir. That would be
Yes, we can do that, yes.
pretty easy to figure out. Yes, sir. I would like to present first to the Employee Benefit Committee because then those campuses and departments would have questions they can answer or go to them right away. But most definitely we'll get that information. With that, I'll have Mr. Joe Wilson present.
He told me I have an hour and a half to present. Is that correct? Thank you all for your service. I get to be a part of many of these school board meetings and city council meetings and commissioners' courts. And I know the long hours you all put in, but I also know the long hours the teachers we support through these meetings put in. After doing 20 years of ministry, walking alongside coaches who spend 40 hours in the classroom, then another 40 hours on a bus taking kids to away games and things like that. So thank you for your service to our community, and thank you for your service in this great Board of Trustees to the teachers and residents of Weslaco. My name is Joe Wilson, and I'm the Executive Vice President of Growth and Government Affairs for Frontier Direct Care. We're based here in Harlingen. We have clinics across the valley, including one in Weslaco, where we serve several large employers here in the community already. A couple of things I want to point out to you tonight was, one is I really want to talk about something specific. This isn't a generic pitch. I'm not trying to make you make a decision tonight. I really want to educate you about what's available to you in healthcare models and what's coming in the market that you need to be aware of. The first thing is this past June, I was able to kind of watch alongside your team as you guys were going through a lot of insurance procurement, and you guys identified, I think, $4.5 million in deficit in the current insurance fund. Am I correct? With that, the health insurance premium went up the year prior and is going up again, and I don't see any end in sight. In fact, even the state trust funds like TRS are facing $1.5 billion in shortfalls without government bailouts. That all is a tax on our communities and our state and the education system. On top of that, did you know that General Motors spends more on healthcare than they do steel? Starbucks spends more on healthcare than they do coffee beans. And right now, the cost of your healthcare probably would pay for the mortgages of your teachers versus benefits that they're probably not engaged in the right way, right? We have a systemic pandemic of financial proportions that is bankrupting our communities, and we have to pay attention. In fact, a recent study produced by the Association of School Board Administrators and School Board Officials released this June titled Rising Premiums and Failing Opportunities found that 98% of district leaders say rising healthcare costs are measurably hitting their operational budgets. And over half are having to tap into reserves to pay these premiums. And in the report's own words, they listed these as unsustainable trade-offs. We see employees be put on benefits that they can't afford to keep their families on, and then when they go to use those benefits, they can't afford the deductibles and the copays to engage the healthcare system we're trying to give them. It's a tragedy. And unfortunately, you have one department in the school that fights that case every day and tries to save the district millions of dollars and deliver health benefits to your employees. And like I said, the bottom line is the traditional way of doing health insurance is bankrupting our community. We're talking about adjusting taxes to find $2 million when there's obviously $2 million in rising things that we're going to have to go to again next year, right? So we got to pay attention. But here's what leaders constantly do is they think that hoping a network change or a broker change will fix the problem. And I'm here to tell you it won't. Because the underlying model of traditional health insurance isn't going to change. The providers on United Healthcare or Blue Cross are the same providers. The way they go about collecting money through the system of premiums and insurance, it's the same system, right? So we're going to put in the same inputs, expecting different results. We have to give our employees and that team new tools. And I want to be clear, this doesn't replace your insurance, it becomes a second option. You can always choose to self-guide and pay your copays and deductibles like you would with your national PPO plan or whatever you've got going on. And then you also have this free pathway at any point you want to choose that for your family. You can go there and get free care as well, and then we can refer you right back into that same model. It's really cool. It's integrated, and we build on top of what you're currently existing in. But the thing I wanted to tell you about is what does change when you bring in a direct primary care model like this. Is for the last several decades, you've had one theater for which to pay for your healthcare needs. That was the theater of insurance. And I'm going to use the word theater because I want to use an analogy to help us all kind of understand how this works. Who has gone to an IMAX theater recently, right? You know the price of admission is probably like $25 a ticket. It's a pretty expensive family event. And you would think that that price of admission, when you walked into that theater with the candy and things that you have to buy, would be greatly discounted because you already paid a price of admission. But what's the reality when we face those concession stand charges at the theater? They're marked up 400 and 500%. And the profits go to shareholders of big corporations and stay out of the pockets of the local people actually providing the services to us. And so what happens is we want to restructure that. If we were to go to IMAX and that was the only way we could engage a picture show, we would have to go every week. And you probably remember this back in the 80s and 90s. It was like the thing to do, go to the movies every Friday night. That's expensive. But then all of a sudden we saw diversification of the entertainment whole market when we had a thing called like Netflix come to the market. And now all of a sudden we had a capitated model for a small membership fee that your kids could watch thousands of episodes of entertainment. And the Seinfeld rerun no longer required an IMAX price to admission to engage. And then what happens? Now we're no longer wanting to go to the theater every Friday night and needing this big, massive thing to watch just a simple show. We save that for the blockbuster events, and our kids know how to use Netflix for their subscription to watch things free. They know that if we want to get entertainment and refreshments outside of that, we can go to Dollar General and get a transparent cash price. And then if big blockbuster events happening, we have the reserves and the fund balance to actually go engage that and care for the blockbuster event that happens in our health plan. Does that make sense for what we're trying to communicate here? And that's how this lays out. So with Frontier Direct Care, that first column there, those are our clinics. We have a dozen of those across the valley, and including serving districts of Leander and Pflugerville in the Austin market, cities like San Marcos, and our neighbors like Hidalgo County and their 6,000 members. Those clinics are a place, a medical home, that all of a sudden your members know where to go. Where's your locus ER room? They probably know exactly how to find that. If you ask them where their nearest primary care clinic, they probably struggle. We're able to tell them where that front door is and take care of those things without any barriers to that care. In fact, when they engage this clinic, typically in most groups, we see a doubling of primary care services, which greatly reduces the high-cost claimant spend on the back end. You're taking that $2.6 million investment and you're moving it from downstream cost to upstream proactive primary care, and you're freeing up that menu for your employees to engage that. And that's going to handle about 90% of their lifetime healthcare needs. Small, simple primary care things that keep you out of the hospital. And then when those things do arise, we have the navigation where we contract with local specialists and facilities. In fact, we have over 3 dozen here in Weslaco already that we're able to send them to on direct contract prices. Prices that those facilities can give to the district that is a simple direct contract between you and them. So that way you can pay them direct cash, and we're no longer using the large network and extracting cash out of that system, and they're able to retain more dollars local and keep dollars in the Weslaco economy. And the reason that can be done is because our technology that embeds all of this thing together, that makes it more than just a clinic, but a structural change to how you deliver health benefits, can facilitate those payments same day or within 30 days to the providers. So that reduces overhead, where they're not waiting 6 months to be paid or denied by insurance claims, making the whole process much more efficient for your members. And like you said, well, what about the investment? We want an ROI. We guarantee that. And so we put our fees at risk, that we set this trend line with you, and if we don't beat that trend line that we'd agreed on, that we can't go above, then we credit back the difference dollar for dollar to the full weight of our fees. On the next, how do I click? There we go. And so you might ask, like, what does that look like in year one? We did a quick analysis of what your spend was. You can see over here on the column on the left, in the year one, that is your traditional theater of insurance. You pay pharmacy and medical claims, and they're totaling about $26 million a year. When you add that capitation with embedded navigation and still having that powerful network, you see the efficiency gained in the pharmacy and medical claims because we're procuring them right every time at the point of care. And then on top of that, that capitation sits on there and compresses that down, making the whole model more efficient and saving that money. That way you're keeping the delta between the 25 that you're spending right now, you're retaining that $3 million in savings for the district. And we're not affecting anybody's taxes. That's pretty cool. But what about over the next 5 years when you make the structural shift? You can see that red line, that's where you're currently pretty much projected to head. This green line is if your group takes this and we do the change management alongside you, that's what we see as the art of the possible. We think we can reduce claims by that much. And that projected savings in there is what the district will retain for their employees in classrooms, where no longer teachers have to pay for their own supplies. That'd be pretty cool too. And what that looks like in the first year is we have to drive that utilization. And so in year one, we typically see utilization go from about 0 to about 40 to 50, sometimes even 60% is our typical average on the employee population, with the entire plan usually being about 55 to 60% as well. But in year two, we're not starting from 0 anymore, right? We've built a great foundation of utilization. People are engaged and know how to properly use the plan to gain efficiency and get the health care they need, and those savings begin to compound. Over the next 5 years, you would probably see about a $40 million deviation from your current trend while providing free health care, not reducing a single benefit, but providing more access points for folks to engage the medical system with local providers that they know and trust. And how we drive that utilization. I'm not here to build you a clinic and say, good luck, have a nice time. And on top of that, I can't lean in on the strategy of on-site clinics because really they usually curtail utilization because no one wants to come into work when they're sick. And the spouses and dependents usually don't come to the place of work of their employer or of their breadwinner to get their women's wellness visits and things like that. They want that privacy. So near site, shared site is what we build. And then we come in with a full change management resource to help culture shift your entire population of how to understand and use insurance without costing their families and the classrooms and the taxpayers millions of dollars. And that is an ongoing campaign every year. We sit down and build an annual campaign with your employee benefits department. That includes selecting sites, taking sure that we're integrated with bidirectional claims data with your carrier so that we can preemptively see anything going on there and flag that and re-educate employees. Seeing any high-cost drugs that are being procured the wrong way, work with local pharmacies to get those drugs procured at a cost-effective manner for the district, doing the go live and launches, the onboardings, all those things, and the ongoing steady state of on-site exams, if we needed to do those, screenings, all those kind of things to help support the district's ongoing health needs. But what it feels like for your people, what we just talked about is very complicated. That's how we battle insurance or how we battle the traditional way in doing insurance and make it more efficient. But for them, it's very simple. It's a clinic for your people, a place dedicated that's ready and understands that the school day needs to be in the classroom, not waiting 4 or 5 hours at a doctor's appointment to be seen or spending 2 weeks to get into something like that. On top of that, we build that clinic at no cost to the district. The only thing we charge you is the membership to be a part of that clinic. So you're not spending $300,000, $400,000 to go build a clinic somewhere. You don't have to manage that clinic. What's really cool inside that clinic is the relationship they have with that dedicated primary care provider. And so our providers have cap panels, meaning that they only have 800 members on their panel. The typical primary care provider has about 3,500. So they have to quadruple book appointments. You only get 5 to 7 minutes with those typical providers, and it takes weeks to get in and be seen. In our model, our providers are able to see 15, 16 people a day, which serves their entire panel really well. And in most cases, can see members same or next day, and urgent needs are handled within 24 hours. On top of that, they get their cell phone number and they can engage that care team unlimited. So they can go as often as they want and call and text in between class periods to get that prescription refill without having to take a trip to the doctor's office. And that higher utilization is built in because those relationships actually matter. And we know relationships matter because we're in education, and we know that that changes things when somebody can walk along someone and help them understand the system that they're in. On top of that, high-cost claimants get healthier and costs come down. We do this all over the state, and we've been doing it for a number of years here, and we're proud to walk alongside local school districts in bringing these benefits to teachers and educators in our community. We study your heat map to make sure they have location access to everywhere in the city and in a region, and that way everybody was within about 10 to 15 minutes of any clinic in the Rio Grande Valley as well. And just as we go through that, we study your data to see where they live and work, and that way we build clinics that are convenient to them. We handle all the lease design and build out, so that's no responsibility of the district, making the simple, easy, and a process to go through. I'll pause now for questions. Oh, I did want to mention one last thing. One part that we are offering school districts, as we know your budgets are tight, is to do 90-day billing terms on districts that join this year. We're not offering that to everybody. A select few school districts here in the Valley are the ones that we've been able to work this out for with our board. But basically, if you think about what that is, it's kind of like taking the 90-day payment terms on your truck, right, where that first payment's not going to start. And so for 3 months there, those are claims that aren't going to be generated to the system. They are, that's going to alleviate some of the burn on the health plan spend for the district as members come in and get healthcare needs with that 90-day term of delayed billing there that will extend for the lifetime of the contract for the district. On top of that, your first invoice wouldn't be due, so that's going to help kind of create that pathway for driving utilization without ever touching your budget. Questions?
Mr. Santos, Coachella?
Well, you mentioned several Valley school districts utilize this, correct?
No, for the most part, when we started the business in Harlingen in 2018, we started working with small businesses and those that were functionally uninsured. And then we moved into the municipal market, serving cities like the city of McAllen, city of Brownsville, La Feria, Alton, and some other places, as well as the counties. And then as we went upstream into the Austin market, several large insurance firms picked us up and said, this needs to go into the school market. And so we began educating school boards on how to engage that. We currently serve Leander ISD and Pflugerville ISD in the Austin market.
Based on that, what's the data? I mean, how many people utilize this?
I have about 45,000 members under contract currently. The last case study we did with...
Let's just say Leander. You said Leander. Do you have anything on Leander?
Yeah, so they are seeing an ROI at this point. A couple of things I will guide you on this is we will tell you kind of here is the best practice to build your plan. Leander had an issue where they had an HSA in their plan, and that created a divide where they had to charge a copay in that moment because the legislation that was moving through on the Consolidated Appropriation Act was clearing up the delineation of direct primary care to support HSAs. So a lot of rigmarole, but they had to charge that copay, which basically hamstrung them driving the utilization they wanted to do in their first year. They've since adjusted their plan and the utilization is on trend and the ROI is coming in.
Okay.
Mr.
I don't know that-
Yeah, there's a bunch of acronyms in there. Yeah, so you guys service Hidalgo County, right?
Yes, sir.
How long have you guys been servicing that?
We've been at Hidalgo County since December 1st of last year.
So what's the ROI there so far? Is there anything showing?
So they're starting to see savings on the ROI. They're about 6 months into their actual data that they're able to receive. So we're getting the first look at that, and they are seeing an impact to the bottom line. However, their utilization is on trend, but only halfway through the year, they're sitting at about 40% utilization.
So this isn't for action, right? This is just a presentation?
Yes, it's a presentation.
There's a presentation. I think our next kind of journey would be to go and explain this to the Employee Benefits Committee, make sure they understand how this model works, and like you said, to survey. We have done several pilots, like including with Harlingen CISD, that we've walked through to survey Employee Benefits Committee, let them understand and you know, kind of get a feel for what this would look like. Take like a net promoter score off of that, bring it back to the board and say, hey, this is what your Employee Benefits Committee found on this. They think they would use it. It becomes their kind of effort. Because really what we need is not a top-down decision. We need a grassroots change in the literacy of how to use healthcare. That's what's costing you a fortune.
Yeah, no, and I agree with Trustee De Los Santos when he brought up that comment about getting some surveys out and whatnot. And I think $2.6 million is a lot of money, right? And Dr. Cantu and Dr. Rivera, thank you for trying to think of a solution to figure this out. And I think that's going to be the type of thinking that is going to help us. But I also want to see what other options that are out there on top of Frontier, right? Because 2.6 million we could do a lot with 2.6 million. We could increase our premium. Our contribution to the premium and lower the kind of what the employees paying, or I'm sure there's multiple options, but I would like to see, like Trustee De Los Santos said, how the employees feel about this, what we think utilization would be by employees. Because I have a little bit of heartburn saying we're going to pay 100% of the per employee per month, 100% of employees, but not all of them are going to utilize it, right? And so we do that, and then we get 5% utilization, then we're just wasting money.
I understand that 100%. I can't tell you how many times I've joined a gym and I
Yeah.
never show up. I did want to go back to this slide because that $2.6 million would be captive with the spending of Frontier. We would still be looking at a decrease of how we're paying our claims. And the reason that we can do that is because of how Frontier and their direct contracts are able to pay at a lower price. Providers would get their money sooner. It would be essentially like you walk into a hospital and they're going to sell you a Tylenol for $20 when you can buy 3 bottles for $20. But this direct contracting would allow for lower pricing and providers get their payment sooner. So I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, so I understand the direct pricing and reference-based pricing kind of model. But to me, I know we're planning on having a committee meeting, Mr. Nieto, soon, within the next couple of days. And if we need to wait more time, I guess we could, so we could have all the information that we need as the committee to kind of get all the options on the table, see what how the employees feel about this. And I'm sure Frontier is a great company, but we could do reference-based pricing as well. We don't need a third party. We could do those direct contracts.
And we can wait until, like Mr. Los Santos mentioned, when the committee meets, and then, of course, provide the survey to staff. We can.
Yeah, I would be really interested to see how much interest the staff has. Again, because paying 100% up front and then 5% use it, that would, then we just spent $2.6 million where we maybe could have been more efficient with that money or more helpful. And maybe Frontier is the option, but I just think that we need a lot more information.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Just to speak quickly to the utilization on that, like we write those KPIs into the contract so that way you know at certain month marks, if we haven't had that KPI hit, you have the right to terminate those contracts in those situations. Key performance indicators. So we'll set thresholds out for you of like utilization marks and return on investment marks and those kind of things. And so once we establish those, we hold ourselves to those. We meet with you weekly, monthly, as much as you need to make sure that we're on track for that.
Yeah, and for me, nothing against Frontier and the model and everything you're presenting and whatnot, but the only reason I'm saying to reach out to and survey staff is because right now we're having a difficult time with the current health care that they're being provided, the fees that they're paying, and the initial, that's why I'm kind of confused, but I'm gonna pull the consent agenda item to talk about that as far as the bank account deposits. But I'm kind of confused because, one of the reasons is we paid 26 million that was over the budgeted amount, and then we went ahead and there was changes and like they were doing at hardly any cost in getting the PPO, and then they changed from Blue Cross Blue Shield to whatever company was approved.
We're with United.
United. And then but now that we're seeing feedback that maybe that not everybody's happy about that and the costs that are coming out and whatnot. So that's why I said for this item, like Trustee Castillo was bringing up, it's based on use. So I'd like to just survey them. That's all it is. If they love it and it's something that is going to impact us and we see like an 85% return of, yes, this is the route I'd take, I think it'd be something beneficial. And then those fundings can be, like I said, reallocated to other uses to help them and release some of those.
Absolutely.
Good points by both of you. Coach Graham, any final comments?
You addressed all that, so.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Collection report, July 1st through 25 through June 30th.
Yes.
Dr. Rivera?
Let me call on Purdue Brandon. I don't know who's here from the firm. Oh.
Janelle.
Janelle.
Good evening, Dr. Rivera, Mr. Nieto, and honorable members of the board. My name is Janelle Gasso. I'm a partner at Purdue Brandon Fielder, Collins & Mott, your delinquent tax attorneys. Today, I'm going to present to you your annual report for the fiscal year 25-26, and that time period covers July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Our firm has a collection center. Our collection that is where our collection program begins, and that is where we contact your delinquent taxpayers and inform them of their delinquency. We have various resources that we use to try to collect your delinquent tax dollars. During this time period, we mailed out over 6,200 letters to your taxpayers, and some of those letters came back returned, so we updated addresses. We updated 974 addresses, and we made over 11,500 phone contacts with your taxpayers. Oh, sorry. There. Oftentimes, when we do contact your taxpayers, either they don't answer, phone's disconnected, we're not able to find a good phone number. When that occurs, we conduct on-site inspections of the property. We send someone out there. We put a notice that says notice of tax lien. And during this time period, we conducted 215 field inspections. When your taxpayers are unable to pay in full, we offer them payment arrangements, something that is within their means. And during this time period, we entered into 82 payment agreements with your taxpayers, which consisted of over $171,000 in base tax owed to the district. And when those efforts do not lead to the desired effect, which is collecting your tax dollars, we resort to filing a lawsuit. And during this time period, we filed 186 petitions and interventions, which consisted of $1.2 million in base tax owed to the district. We conducted 9 tax warrants. The tax warrants come into play when there's business personal property. That means there's a business that owns inventory tax and they are delinquent on that inventory. The tax code allows us to go to the property and with a warrant in hand and either seize the inventory and sell it sometimes, or collect the delinquent amount. So during this time period, we did 9 tax warrants, which consisted of over $16,000 in base tax owed to the district. And we also represent the district in bankruptcy court. And during this time period, we filed 19 claims in bankruptcy court. Next slide. The last step in our collection process is tax sale. So we're still working with your taxpayer. We continue to try to get them into our office, get them into a payment arrangement. And when either they do not pay the delinquent or they're not interested in paying the taxes, we do put those properties up for tax sale. And during this time period, we posted 18 properties up for sale. Of those 18 properties that we posted, 9 entered into a payment arrangement or paid in full. 1 property was struck off and 8 were sold. We also conducted a resale, and in our resale, we had sold 3 properties. So in total, we collected over $96,350 through our tax sale process. This is an interesting slide. This tells you how your tax roll is made up. And so looking at this slide, 36% of your tax roll is in litigation. Another 36% is in deferral. Those are accounts that we cannot call and collect. 19% is action pending. That means we're actively working those accounts in our call center. They're not in litigation yet, and that is how your tax roll is made up. Next slide. Okay. Our tax collection. So during this time period, we collected $1,474,000, and there was over $500,000 in refunds. In total, your DTR is $4.5 million. Another service that we provide to the district is our Appeal and Audit Division, and we are very proud of the results that we had during this last fiscal year. We recovered over $1.8 million in additional state aid for the district. We're very proud of that. Next slide. And our community engagement, we are actively involved in your district. We are always involved in your back-to-school bash, and we read to the students there at Memorial Elementary, and we were also giving turkeys at Ibarra Elementary. And so we are proud of the work that we do here at your district, and we want to thank you for your business, and we appreciate the time. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Janelle. Questions, Mr. Ben? I'll start with you.
I do not, sir.
Okay. Mr. Coachella?
None.
Mr. Los Santos?
None.
None? Mrs. Sustenta?
No, I just walked in, but the last part I got, thank you for being part of the community.
Yes, of course.
Coach Guerra?
No, I'm good.
Good presentation, and, we'll move forward to making sure we collect all those delinquent taxes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Nieto. Thank you.
Let's continue. Number 9, Lone Star Governance. Dr. Rivera.
Mrs. Solano?
Good evening, Mr. Nieto, trustees, Dr. Rivera, and community. So the month of August, we bring to you the TEA A through F accountability ratings for the 2026 ratings, right? These ratings, you will probably hear about them a couple of times all the way until our taper reports are released next spring, probably early February, presented in March, again, when they become final, right? So today, we'll focus on the A through F accountability ratings, which we kind of touched during the recognitions awards at the beginning of our board meeting. So the slide of the ratings, Mr. Martinez. Okay, so here, what you see in this slide, this is the actual official rating sheet that TEA provides to the district and to each of the campuses. We do want to acknowledge that thanks to the efforts of everyone and the hard work of everyone here, our campus principals, their teachers, support staff, right? Every department plays a key role: child nutrition, maintenance, custodians, our superintendent, US trustees, advocating for our classrooms, right? And our students in our community, our parents, have helped our district rating to increase from the previous year of an 85. So we are now an 87 as a district. We want to recognize, right, our high schools. Tremendous work from our high schools, because it is, right? Those of you who are really into the accountability method understand that 40% of the district rating come from the high schools, right? Because the state has changed the methodology to wherever the amount of testers are, the increased amount of testers, which at the high schools, obviously, we have more students times more tests. That is where the percent or the weight of each of the campus rating falls, right? So we want to recognize that, and we know that it's not an easy task because the high schools are rated very differently than all of elementary and middle schools. In addition to that, they have to demonstrate that they are post-secondary readiness, which is their CCMR scores, falls or plays a big role in our accountability system too. And thanks to that, right, and thanks to the level of meets performance across the district earned the one distinction, right, that they could possibly earn, which is the post-secondary readiness distinction. So that says a lot about the work that is happening at the campus. Our LSG goals obviously monitor that meets performance level since kindergarten, right? And we monitor it even at our pre-K level too. So kudos to everyone for doing a tremendous job. I do want to also acknowledge, right, RICO, we had, growth, a score gained of 5 points from the previous years. They are now a B with an 85. They had tremendous growth over the last years. Airport was a 69 last year and scored an 87. Tremendous work to Mr. De Boyoso, Ms. Guajardo, their team of teachers. Goes to show, right, the great work, the talent that the staff has there and the students and parents. Kleckler held did go down from an 87 to an 84. We are working with administration to ensure we go back up, as they were so close to an A. Margot Elementary went from an 85 to an 88. Tremendous growth at Margot Elementary as well. We're chasing that A this year, so we're working with their teams to ensure that we'll reach that A2. Memorial Elementary stayed an A at a 90, so we'll continue to work with our A campuses, as we know that systems in place play a huge role, right? Also, too, in maintaining the A. It is not easy once you perform at that high level to stay at that high level. So North Bridge, we did see a decrease in North Bridge from an 82 to 78, but we are working with Ms. Briones and her team to ensure we bring it back up. Mario Ibarra went up a point to an 81. We see Gonzalez remaining at that A status at a 91. We do have Silva, that is still one of our D campuses. We will continue with Region 1, continue to work with the Silva administration. We've been meeting over the summer to address some of the issues. We've have some findings based on some of the data that we collected from last year, and their team is doing an amazing job with our CNI staff in addressing those since before the beginning of the year started. Sam Houston, want to congratulate them for maintaining that A at a 90. Cuellar went up 2 points. They've done tremendously, and I do want to highlight, 2 years ago, Cuellar was at a 69 2 years ago, and they have now very close to an A. They're at an 86, so congratulations to the Cuellar administration team and teachers, all staff there. B. Garza Middle School did have a decrease to a 78. We have Central Middle School also with a slight decrease at an 89. Then we have Mary Hogue that came out from a D campus, 69, jumped 10 points to a 79. Then we have, so congratulations to Mary Hogue as well. As I know, it was a challenging year, right? But they came out at that D status. South Palm Gardens, as Ms. Wells said it, 6 years in a row. Nice to have that A, right? Weslaco East, 10-point gain from an 81 to a 91. Kudos to Dr. Gamboa, his team of staff, everyone for doing such an intentional work behind, every number in our data represents students, and we're hoping, that we hit as close to 100 as possible. Weslaco High went from a 92 to a 94, unseen at the high schools levels to continue growing that A. So most definitely, we want to continue to celebrate that, acknowledge that, recognize their hard work, but also to address the areas of improvement, right? Those gaps that we know exist, and we're doing that daily with our CNI team, making sure that every campus and every classroom has the support that they need. There you see every domain, which is student achievement is domain 1, academic growth is domain 2A, relative performance is domain 2B, and closing the gaps is domain 3, right? So based on that area of strength and the area of growth, that is how the support will be given to each of the campuses so that we can ensure that if every campus grows, we're 3 points away from an A as a district, which is very doable. That is what we're striving for this year. But I'll continue with the campus ratings, right? And I do want to acknowledge, Mr. Buttermer.
So I guess what she wants to acknowledge is, as a district, right, we've gone to an 87%. It ranks as one of the top scores across the valley. So again, for that, we're extremely excited and extremely proud of all the work that goes behind it.
Mm-hmm. So with that, on the next slide, I do want to acknowledge our distinction designations. I do want to ask if 3 of our principals can stand up just to receive this recognition, but we have Margot Elementary, Raul Gonzalez Elementary, and Sam Houston Elementary. If you can please rise. These campuses earned all 6 out of 6 distinctions, which means they ranked on the top quartile of their comparison group across the state, right? And it's not easy to be at that top quartile, which is tremendous work, and we're going to be working with all principals in ensuring that every distinction is earned, because that only means, in a lot of the distinction designations, for those of us that may not be aware of, is campuses for these subject areas, or depending on where they have the check mark, are performing at the meets to master's level. They have high performance at the meets to master's level in performance, right? So we want to get each campus to earn every distinction, as our goals through LSG is the meets performance and higher, right? We want to recognize Airport Elementary, I have to, huge shout out to Airport Elementary. They, from last year to this year, they increased 5 distinctions, right? So huge, huge work. That was done, tremendous work. Rico Elementary gained an additional 3 distinctions this year, which means that the intentional work and focusing on their meets and masters has proven to be successful, right? So we also want to recognize, here we have Ibarra Elementary that also went up in distinctions as well. So and again, the work of everyone helped earn the district the post-secondary readiness distinction, which again, districts can only earn 1 distinction, and Weslaco ISD earned the distinction. So congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Mrs. Solano, for the presentation. I know Coach Serna had mentioned something about distinction, so I'll begin with him.
Well, no, big congratulations to all our campuses. Tremendous effort by all. I think you guys leading the way, and then the campuses doing what they have to do. Really proud of everyone. Congratulations.
Thank you. Mr. Ben Castillo?
Yes, so congratulations to all again. It's very great results, but then we start for this year, right? Now we're working towards next year. So what are we doing to provide the support to our campuses that are not doing as well, and to the campuses that are just on the cusp of being at A? So it's gonna be a 3-part question. And then on the campuses that are already at an A, to sustain that A.
Yes, Mr. Castillo. So one of the things that we, a system, right, that we see with our high-performing campuses, right, and even I'll take you from the Weslaco East scenario, right, because we worked very closely with Dr. Gamboa's administrative team in just monitoring, progress monitoring, accountability, right? Because when data-driven decisions obviously have an impact in instruction. So we have built, through our department here, we have built an accountability workbook that has been shared with principals, right? We started very vague by domains, monitoring domains, but we have seen success, right? There was an option to let's monitor that same workbook by teacher at the teacher level. That is where we're seeing the great success, right? So we are going to now, that's going to be kind of like a mandatory requirement that it's not only done at the campus level, but it's done at the teacher level, right? And then with campuses that are going to be monitored, right, under that school targeted support, more than anything, not only at the teacher level, but by population level, right, to get them out of that. So we have seen proven success with the principals that automatically took that option and embraced it, and we are going to replicate that as a requirement across all. Yes.
So we're gonna spend a lot of time in those campuses that need it, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
We're going to spend, what did you say?
A lot of time at the campuses that need the support.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Coach Greg?
That's all we can ask, just to work together collectively.
Most
Collectively, we're going to get there, and I can foresee that in the near future we'll be an A-rated school. So again, to be commended for the outstanding work by everyone. Thank you so much.
Mrs. Susteta?
I was looking online for the LSG gives us those question stems. How can we replicate? What can we? So what I can't find them, but what came to my mind a couple of years ago, I know Cuellar was struggling, and we took some actions, right, to help them. And obviously we see the fruit of that labor with Cuellar, who's doing great right now. How can we replicate what we did at Cuellar with the other middle schools that are struggling a little bit more?
I think if I can chime into that, your LSG coach will tell you the most difficult thing is to change adult behavior. And you have to give kudos to Cuellar Middle School because 2 years ago, they changed adult behavior first. One of the things you hear us say, and it sounds very repetitive from our chairs, but we have to be very intentional with the professional learning communities, the PLCs. It sounds easy to say, but the schools that are making the biggest impact are intentional in their PLCs, which is their planning, in practicing the delivery of their instruction, and then literally instructing their students, following their data, and it's just one repetitive circle or cycle that continues. So again, changing adult behaviors to understand the importance of utilizing those PLCs. Our campuses that are excelling are taking that on. I'll use Dr. Gamboa's campus. Again, we had some very intentional discussions back in the spring of 2025. He and his team took those discussions and they moved forward last year, and you can see the fruits of their labor being very intentional. They deserve a lot of kudos because, again, it's the work you don't see that they put in for that success. So again, to everyone. And again, we've made tremendous strides and we're getting better.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Buttermer. And as you were saying that, I was actually going through our LSG manual right now, and I came across the sentence. It says, student outcomes don't change until adult behaviors change. And so it's very nice to see that's actually what's happening, until we as adults change our mindset about the correct ways to manage, student success. I had one more. Oh, for the elementaries. I know that Ms. Garcia, Ms. Gutierrez, and Ms. Arcadia, they just stood up right now, all the distinctions. I know I've stopped Ms. Garcia when I see her outside, and I tell her, you were just doing awesome. What can we do to help the other schools do what you're doing? Because obviously leadership is very important. I'm learning that through all my leadership classes, that as a teacher, I felt, I'm going to do my job no matter what. It doesn't matter who the principal is. I know I need to do my job. But when you have a great leader and you have somebody who understands, it makes a big difference. And obviously leadership is very important. But I just would love to see other schools, and I'm not saying that they're not great. Everybody, you're here for a reason. You're important. We love all of you guys. You're doing great. But how can we replicate, I guess, same thing with Cuellar, the elementaries, with what Sam Houston and Gonzalez, Margot, what they're doing? Other than PLCs, what are the actions?
So I'll say it starts at PLC, Ms. Sustaita, because if I don't see my leader there, then if it's not, inspect what you expect, right? But also be that role model, right? So if I am the instructional leader, I'm going to model it. And Ms. Garcia presented last year, and she says it starts with expectations. But you can't have the expectation only first 6 weeks or beginning of the year. It has to carry through consistently, communicated, but supported, right? And expected throughout the entire year to get you to the end. Right? So one of the things that we do, right, through our accountability work, and we start with data because data represents our students, right? Represents what's happening in the classroom. Are we only growing or are they achieving? And I will say sometimes it's like, okay, if we see our benchmark 1, we're like, okay, well, forget about my end of the year goal, let me lower the target, right? Versus, no, let's figure out, right? So, and we say it with all teams in mind, right? With our CNI team, with administration, to the teacher level. So I want to say that it starts there, that expectation, setting the target, because all campuses did that at the beginning of the year. Went through the data, set goals. Do not drop that expectation, but follow it through and monitor it all the way. But it can't be administration alone, it can't be teacher alone, it can't be student alone, right? I'll share with Rico. Rico has had tremendous gain in the last 2 years. But one of the things that Ms. Luna shared is, at first administration knew it. We knew what to do, but the teachers didn't, right? They didn't know how to get there. But then we shared it with teachers. And one thing that made a difference in their increase in distinctions and grade this past year, she said, I went one more level and shared it with parents and students. So everyone's on that same page, right? So it's intentionality, Ms. Arcadia and her team, intentionality with every student population, right? So.
Yes, and you said it right now, the keyword parents, and I know that's one thing they say, that engagement with the parents is very important. And even our coach, Dr. Ramos, he's told me the most important thing that a board can do is have that community engagement and reaching out and be in communication with the community, because that's where the success is, and understanding each other and communicating. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Those are all my
And one
questions.
thing that we brought in Dr. Cinto in the summer, just want to share one last thing, and he shared with administration, right, because we all sat together with him. And he says something along the lines like, if adult behaviors don't change, the future is already written, right? So that is one thing we have to take into consideration.
Mr. Los Santos?
Yes, I mean, again, great job to everybody, great presentations, the distinctions as well. If we can go back to that page where the distinctions are at, that campus distinction? Yeah. they were right
The
there.
next page.
The next one.
No, the one
for-
with the check marks.
For our next LSG, like I know everybody's talking about what can we do and how can we replicate and things like that, but I'd first like to know where we're at, right? And for me, doing a comparison as far as like campuses, right? You see how you have it above the top, you have RLA, math, science, et cetera. I'd like to know total enrollment. I'd like to know how many, like, their size. What is their staff structure?
Yes.
Right? What is it that some have that some don't? Instructional coaches, deans of instruction, things like that. Because if you have a variance where you have some campuses with and others without,
Right.
that kind of, student enrollment, classroom sizes.
Of course.
Additional support staff, especially those focused on curriculum and whatnot and interventions. All that can really turn the tide because, like Silva, for instance, right? We've talked about that. They need resources, they need assistance. That should be like one of the campuses should be getting almost everything, right?
Right.
So like if others have instructional coaches and deans and things like that, you would think that Silva has that as well. I don't know if they do or not.
So for the 25-26, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
School year, Silva had additional staffing.
Right.
To assist, to include additional mentors, an additional sub-administrator, an additional AP. So the staffing, I will say, Mr. De Los Santos,
Adequate.
right.
Yeah, so just a breakdown like that, just to see, like, as far
Of course.
as a trustee, to see, to make sure that we're being equitable
makeup.
across the board. And then looking at population sizes, because it's true too. I mean, like for those that are trying to get there
Right.
and aren't there yet, like what are their classroom sizes
Right.
like? Are they normal? Are they below normal? And you have to answer me now, but or are they high?
Correct, the
Right, that
makeup
would
of
be
the
something.
campus, basically. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Well, and another thing on that, you mentioned monitoring, and I think just going off what Mark was saying, the administrative teams need to be, full force.
Yes, sir.
You got to, like you were saying, population, everything needs to be a level playing field for
Yes.
for our campuses,
Yes, sir.
because it's important.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Thank you, Ms. Alana.
Thank you.
And again, I want to kudos to those campuses that received all 6 distinctions. I believe there was 3 of them, Gonzalez, Sam Houston, and Margot Elementary. And of course, the other schools that received 5 out of 6, Memorial, Airport, and Tony Rico also did very well. And some of the other ones that increased, like Ibarra and Collector Health. We're getting there under the distinctions, and of course in our accountability, A's and B's. And of course, the 3 schools that are almost there at B's, the assistance that they need at those particular campuses, Mary Hope, Northbridge, and B. Garza. They're close to a B, and we can get to a B. And of course, like Mr. Los Santos mentioned, that we, Rudy Silva, that what they need over there, so that way they can improve their accountability. But kudos to central office staff, Dr. Rivera, your staff, and of course the principals. Very important. A couple of the board members mentioned the monitoring is very important. Being in the classrooms is very important. The data that Mr. Solano mentioned, data is very important. And of course, the expectations. What you expect from your teachers, from your staff, that's what's going to carry you to improvement. So thank you to all, and we'll continue.
Mr. Nieto,
Yes.
is there another item? Or are we on 9A2 or 9A3? Because I had a question on.
It was that was the August presentation.
That was a 9A1.
That was 9A1, so we still have 9A2.
Correct.
Progress measures, okay.
That's the next one, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
9, we'll continue to amend Lone Star Governance Goal Progress Measures. Dr. Rivera,
Yes.
or Ms. Solano.
Again, Ms.
So
Solano?
I submitted the supporting documentation. It's not a presentation here per se, but I believe you should have the backup. So the team, when we met with Dr. Cinto, or Coach Ramos, right, back in June, and we did additional work in July. The principals, CNI, and our departments met to just ensure that the alignment to the targets, the GPMs, were up to par for the 27, basically, and the 28, the last 2 years, right, of these HB3 targets. So you have a board monitoring sheet for each of the goals, the GPMs 1.1 through 1.3. So basically, the alignment there is just bringing down the end of the year target, which is 2028. Before it was a 70. However, the goal target at the top is a 60. So we just brought it down to align to that. So then it moved the 27 a bit, right? But still being faithful to that end goal for the overall goal, right? So that was GPM 1.1 through 1.3. GPMs 2.1 through 2.3, it was the same thing. The actual targets for 2028 were set at 70. They were brought down to 60 to align to the overall board goal, to a 60. The same thing for 3.1 to 3.3, 4.1 to 4.3, and then you see the changes in red, your supporting documentation for the GPMs, overall targets. And that was to bring the amendment just to set those targets for this school year.
Any comments?
I'm looking at our board, it's the board monitoring calendar for August. And I know we have our student goals that we're the A to F rating, but then on the side of that, it used to be guardrails and CPMs, constraint. Now I see OPMs. And OPMs is operational performance metrics.
Yes.
And I'm like, what is that? And then I see our, I guess, guardrail to talk about this month is LSG framework. So I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Okay, so I just used a new wording. I believe Dr. Cinto said that he was going to be doing training with the board and administration. It's no longer CPMs, it's operational OPMs.
Okay, I did not know that.
Instead of constraint, it's operational.
So probably in the next training, he'll bring that
So
up.
we're like a training behind.
And I believe Dr. Damos spoke to you, Mr. Nieto.
Yes.
We are going to be meeting in September to look over the OPMs. So that is why September will come with an amendment. So that is where we'll start the year.
Okay, so for example, for August, we're supposed to focus on the board, as a board on the LSG framework, which means OPM 5.1. What is OPM 5.1?
So OPM 5.1 is ensuring that the basically administration or the district helps the trustees gain that higher ranking in the overall
Evaluation?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, but because he said that there is a training pending for sometime in September, that we are going to amend some of the OPMs.
Okay.
Just to align better.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Any comments on this particular presentation? No. Okay, let's go to 9.8.3. Discussion and possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider the approval of the Lone Star Governance Board monitoring calendar for August 2026.
Recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Staita, second by Mr. Coach Serna. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's go to consent items. I'll begin on the right side. If you want to pull any for discussion, Mr. De Los Santos?
Yes, 10K 2B.
10K,
2B.
10K, 2B. Okay, let's see.
And 10K 3A. That'll-
And 10K, 3A, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Coach Serna?
No, I don't have any.
Okay. Mr. Ben is not here. Coach Cuella, any items you need to
No.
discuss? Mrs. Sustaita?
No, I'm good.
And
We're going to table this. We're going to table this.
10F, what is it?
10F 3A, we're going to table it till next month.
Okay, just for your information, 10F 3A, which is, let me locate it. 10F 3. Oh, this one, Dr. Eda wants to table it. It's under Instructional Technology Department. Approval to purchase classroom instructional technology equipment for the 9th grade students district-wide for the 2026-27 school year, correct?
Yes.
So that one's going to be.
Table this to next month.
Table that one, okay. All right, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda except for 10K 2B and 10K 3A?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Sustaita, second by Coach Cuellar, to approve the consent agenda items except for 10K2B and 10K3A. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's go to 10K2B. 10K2B. Mr. Los Santos, for information only, financial update as of July 2026, correct?
Right. Yes, sir.
Just the one? Okay.
Yes, the July 31st, 2020.
Right? That's the one you requested? Okay.
Thank you, 2B. My questions are for Ms. Rodriguez.
Okay. Mr. Rodriguez?
I have a series of questions here, and I just really need clarifications. Only because, like I said, transparency is key, and having all the proper information and being direct and fair in those presentations. I went back and saw the July meeting. I didn't get to make that July meeting because it was moved, and I couldn't make it, and I was out of town. But I did have a couple questions, and it refers back to this, just so that we can have proper projections and really identify kind of what we face, especially as we move forward now into workshops, Ms. Rodriguez. Okay, so what I want to clarify is that when you say, throughout these reports, you consistently emphasize unaudited and unadjusted.
Correct.
And can you define that for the board and the trustees in the community?
So unaudited and unadjusted means that these reports are still fluid and will be changing up until an audit is performed on them. So the financial audit won't get performed on these financials until next summer to
Okay.
be presented to the board November 2027.
Okay.
So that's why it states there unaudited and unadjusted.
And part of being fluid is, like I said, when we're making decisions as we move forward, we're talking about additional positions and whatnot and costs and looking at and we've been increasing positions, right? We've been voting on staffing every single month, okay? And so my thing is accurate projections. So one of my questions is here, you're showing there that you have a projected $15 million deficit already, right? On the second page,
Yes.
page 309?
General fund. Yes, sir.
Okay, did you calculate in there the stipend that was approved in July? Was that analyzed and adjusted and accounted for in
The
that 15?
stipend is not calculated there. That is the budget that was adopted in June.
Okay. And so where are you gonna get those funds? Because I know that in that meeting that there was two that, there was one that was recommended, I think, or one on the agenda, but it ended up being two possibly. One for the fall and then another one in spring, correct? Is that not what I heard? There was two.
The one for the spring was pending ADA.
Pending ADA, right,
Yeah, it all depends on the ADA
Right.
in December.
right.
So the one that was approved would be covered with a budget amendment in
Right.
September.
From the fund balance.
Correct.
Right, so that's what I'm trying to tell you, that you have a projected $15 million, because I saw you present to the board, okay? Let me stick to what I have here. And in the July meeting, at 53 minutes and 51 seconds into that meeting, you described that there was a $9 million in savings. You looked at your budget, you looked at the budget and actually your expenditures, and those exact words were used, that, oh, that's a $9 million savings. And then there was a discussion between the board members of, well, that $9 million savings is gonna roll over. And that $9 million savings can be used towards stipends, right? And you agreed to that.
That was not correct. That was when Mr. Castillo was
Right.
asking me about that, yes. And it wasn't a savings. I think I stated that was actually going to be, it's already accounted for in that deficit,
Right.
right? But yes, at that moment, it was a little,
Yes, it was
Confusing.
misinterpreted, right, by the community. So, and I know because I wasn't here, but then I got calls like, hey, you were saying that
yes.
there's a deficit, but there's
I
no
got the
deficit.
same
We had a $9 million
questions.
savings.
I did get the same question.
And that was the thing. We have to be real careful with our terminology. Like even myself as a trustee, right? We have to be real careful with our terminology. And that's why I've asked the presentations to the board describe specifically how much revenue you brought in, which is the money that you get, versus expenses, instead of telling everybody about the budget. Because what you did, you presented the budget that you made up, right? That you all created. And then you put the expenses, and then that's and you said, well, we thought we were gonna spend 230, we only spent 221, $9 million, and you call it savings, but that's not savings, right?
Right, that's
Because
where-
savings would be, it's pretty much like this, and I had to break it down to people because they didn't understand. If I tell my wife we're gonna spend $5,000 next month and we only spend $3,000, but I only make $2,000, I didn't save any money, right? I only bring home $2,000. Just because I only spent 3 doesn't mean, oh, well, we had a savings of 2,000. No, I'm still negative. And so that's where we got to be clear, because as we move forward with decisions and I see that there's still recommendations and pushes, hey, more staff, or, and those things we need, right? Definitely if it's instruction. But we have to be very careful in that terminology. And that's why I just wanted to kind of pinpoint that. When you tell people unaudited, it means, well, I'm not saying this is set in stone. This may change. It may go up, it may go down. And so my thing is when the board's hearing about a stipend that's not accounted for, because you don't have revenue to pay that stipend, okay? And so when they start to hear terminology like that, savings and things like that, and we're in a positive state financially and all this, and then you go and approve bonuses for staff that you don't have money for me, speaking on behalf of myself, that's financially responsible at that time.
That was from fund balance.
Yeah, I
Right,
think we
from
stated it was
savings.
going to be coming from fund
Right.
balance, yes.
From the
But
100
it's not money that you have. So if that deficit's at 15, you still, and I heard that you budgeted 26 million for the insurance. Are you sure that the premiums you raised are going to cover and meet the 26, or are you going to fall short according to that?
Those are all part of the analysis that we've been working with Dr. Cantu on.
Still fluid, right?
Still fluid, yes.
So that's what I'm saying. So you could potentially have another negative insurance. You potentially could still have a payroll deficit because we've still been hiring. And so all that gets, and that's not in the system.
It's been reducing staff. We haven't been hiring. So compared to last year, we have reduced the staff.
The staff gets put into the system when, Ms. Rodriguez? You don't currently have it in your system now, or do you?
The new staff will hit the system September.
In
or
September.
payroll,
So September
correct.
is when we'll find out where our staffing levels are.
Correct. So August, this month, is our last payroll for all of the staff that were, the teachers.
And I'm only asking these questions, right? Not to contest anybody or call anybody into question, but correct me if I'm wrong. Just tell me. We still have been hiring. The people that left that we paid 20% to leave, we've replaced some of those positions. Other positions were created and added to the compensation plan. Some pay scales as well were adjusted and changed, and rightfully so with maybe, purpose. But all the things that we've been saying out here in public, when we go back to the back end executive, we've been approving the opposite. So I'm just concerned that we don't continue to spend, even yet that we don't even know what our budget is total yet. You don't even have it in the system yet, and then we've already approved the stipend that you don't have the money for.
From last year to this year, staff has been reduced a lot at all levels. And again, the stipend was from fund balance. Because the fund balance, we have over 100 days. TA recommends 80 to 90. So it was fund balance for the stipend.
Right.
And again, throughout the year, we're going to continue reducing. We do not have more staff this year than what we had last year. So we're continuing to reduce. Month by month, we're continuing to reduce.
And going back, Ms. Rodriguez, one quick question, very clear. Did your staff do the analysis on the stipend? Did your budget department, did they participate in analyzing whether there was a stipend that was going to be given out?
No, there was no participation on that. It was simply what was our stipend when we paid it out in December, and
But were they informed when everybody else was informed that a stipend was going to begin? Like, in other words, you didn't go to the budget department and say, is this a good idea? And can we afford this? And what is the impact, et
It
cetera?
was discussed, yes, and there were some concerns.
Okay. And my other question as well, too, is the fact that, like I said, at the end of the day, we have a very large deficit. And I understand we keep talking about fund balance, but 51 million is not a lot of money, right? I'm going to go back to the original without the deduction. 66 million there. One, is not the total figure, and the board needs to understand that, because you still have other encumbered costs in there too, so it's a little bit lower, correct? Or am I wrong? Because you have nutrition, what is it,
That includes child nutrition, correct?
Yeah, child nutrition and whatnot. So that's untouchable for a negative, right? Because that's already designated.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is, you're flipping quarters here, right? I got 56 left, and if you're on the hook for 20, I'm trying to make this as easy enough to follow. You're reducing your fund balance by major increments, right? We only dodged the bullet last year because we had 15 million that came in from interest, but we're not going to see that again, right? And I was just informed that window for interest is closing very soon. I didn't even know this. But they said, yeah, you only have so many years that you actually get interest off your bond. After that, the other type of penalties and things come in. So that's not coming. So there's no lifeline coming this year. And I just want to make sure that we take appropriate actions and really see where we're at as soon as possible. So as soon as that's in the system, we need to see accurate numbers, for September. And this presentation, this document, I don't want to see slides because this is actual government document. So this is the one that I want to see as a trustee to be discussed and reviewed, And I think all of us as a board should ask for this to be presented to us. When we get the superintendent can pick what he wants to report, but you have to be on the agenda and present and go over this document because this is the one that actually counts and it's legally upholding. Slides aren't. So I would just like that.
We can do that at every.
For future meetings.
Yes, we can make sure include it and they can present on that.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
and the other item that I had on there was just the overtime pay as well too. Because we're spending funds, I see that we're spending funds, all these different areas, all these different positions, you see, it's like you always see people say, well, we're top heavy, right? But then you still have maintenance, nutrition, and transportation that are understaffed, right? And have levels they meet levels that are kind of critical. They're right matched up with our enrollment. And they're really driving, I don't want to say driving the bus, right? No pun intended, but they're really pushing us forward, right? Turning those wheels every day at the campus, different departments across the district, et cetera. And yet they're kind of, and I heard it all last year. I don't know if any other trustees heard it, but I did, where, hey, surplus comp time, and then there's the time and a half. Time and a half, somebody asked me in the community, that's why I want to clarify here. That's the next agenda item I pulled, the overtime reports.
Correct.
Overtime isn't a bonus, like a stipend or whatever. Overtime is there because, and Mr. Medico's there, overtime is there because the staffing levels are low and the need is high. So that's something that, I just want you all to consider that, right? This deficit's impacting them as well because now they're being forced to take comp time. They need to have the option, like all hourly employees, where they can choose either or.
I think the staffing plan is okay in maintenance. Mr. Abel, in transportation.
We sat down
We have
and
the
we
same
reviewed it.
number
I've
of
sat
people
down
that we
with,
have, but sometimes you have
Medical
things
Garza.
that break down. But the staffing is the same.
Like I said, those are the concerns that I reach as a board, as a trustee, that the staffing levels aren't there. And I also look at the Region 1 budgeting tool, and you can see there too, where it shows you the graphs, right? Where it shows you, and you all know that, right? The enrollment versus staffing levels, right? It'll show whether they're actually right aligned or whether they're opposite. So those are things that we just need to look at and be considerate of them because they're really they're the ones taking the brunt and the impact of all this that we're currently in right now.
There's some extenuating circumstances with, needs of the district, and
Right.
that's where we work with overtime as well that do come up. But we do monitor it closely,
Thank you.
moving forward on that.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Los Santos. Good concerns. Any other, you want to make a motion to approve those two?
Yes, I make a motion to approve those two items.
Okay, motion to approve 10K2B and 10K3A.
Yes,
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second by Coach Cerda.
Coach
Any
Cerda.
other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's continue. Item 11, discussion items. Update on trainings, conferences, events, and consider future agenda item request by Board of Trustees. Dr. Rivera.
Yeah, the only one is the meeting for Monday to approve the tax rate on Monday of next week,
Okay.
on 11A.
Also, we can add the item that I had requested.
Oh, yes, on the POs?
Yes. And then during the week, I know you're super busy, but I'll send an email if you can get us class counts of any schools that are like over 20, I don't know what it is, 22?
Great.
Just so we can see, what grades are more affected by those larger class sizes.
Yes, we can
Okay.
do a board update.
Yeah, next week, if you hopefully have time. All right?
All right. All right, let's continue with item 12, discussion and possible action. Dr. Rivera, 12A, discussion and possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider approval of a procurement method of construction for the HVAC improvements bond projects at Klecker Health, Mario Ibarra, A.N. Tony Rico, Justice Raul Gonzalez, Rudy Silva Elementary School, South Palm Gardens High School, and Joe Calvillo Junior Career and Technology Education Center. And number 1, Board of Trustees determination of a procurement method of construction that would provide the best value to the district for the projects. Item 2, approval of the criteria and points to be used for the ranking of the proposals. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, Mr. Aguilar?
Yes,
You want to
sir.
discuss this?
Yes, sir.
The board
Dr.
had
Rivera.
mentioned design build as one of the methods. so
Correct.
we
Yes,
can
sir.
go
Thank you,
ahead
Dr.
and-
Rivera. So, members of the board, in your packet, you did receive the available procurement methods to provide the best value to the district. And, you know, there's 6 different options. Board has been bringing up a design build, as Dr. Rivera just referenced right now. That is one of the methods that we have available. There's actually 6. As you know, we mainly go with competitive seal proposals, but right now, you know, timeline is an advantage, you know, for completion. I do want to stress on this project here, this is not a full redesign that we're looking for on these campuses when it comes to HVAC. It's collective needs that we have in place. So I just want to make that clear, that we're looking at. It's not a full redesign that we're looking at with these campuses. So we just, again, you have the 6 options there, and for the board to approve the best value and available procurement methods that we have available.
Mr. Aguilar, I noticed that on one of the pages in the back, in blue highlight, it says here the district, if we would go design build, if. It says there, the district shall hire independently of the design build team the services of an architect or engineer to act as the governmental entity's representative. So we would have, if we would go design build, they would have their architects and engineers, and then the school district would have our own as our representatives?
Well, we would have to go for RFQ. So let's say the board chooses to go design build, we'd have to go for RFQ. Once those qualifications come in, then the board can decide if they want to shortlist,
Okay.
you know, those that submit the proposals, you know, for those qualifications. And then we take it from there, moving forward.
Okay. Questions?
Yeah, I have questions. Well, that was the first one that I had. So, and that might eliminate a lot of the questions that I have here. Because you already mentioned, my next question was, has it been selected? No, because we'd have to do an RFQ, okay? The other one that I saw, that it says that the packet states that the evaluation committee will include an independent engineer to be contracted by the district, and that individual will also be a representative. Like, what is that role? Like, are they going to be voting? So the person that we hire to be our representative, they'll also be on the committee to rank? Or is that going to be a separate engineer? Because it's worded that way in the packet.
Medical will elaborate on that one.
Yeah, because the packet states the evaluation committee will include an independent MEP engineer.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Rivera. So yes, so this process design build process calls for us, and it's by code or law that we have to hire an independent representative for the district. And typically, due to the nature of the project, then we would go with an engineer who is familiar with HVAC in this case, and they would act as our representative on behalf, and also not only guiding us and advising us throughout the process, but also reviewing the design as the contractor is building as well, because of the nature of the design and construction. And so in this case, it is up to us to determine whether we want them just to be there as a guidant individual during the committee ranking, or if we want them to rank as well. So it would be at our discretion.
Okay. What is the estimated total cost of like all these projects together? And then how are you going to pay that engineer? Because you have the options of paying by percentage base, depending on the work they're going to do, by set fee, hourly, et cetera. Like, I don't want to, like, I'll be honest, I don't want to hire an independent representative and we're going to have, I don't know, how many projects are there? 7? I think
We have 7, correct.
7 total, and let's say that
And
you're.
we're looking at about $1.2 million that we had set aside budgeted.
How much, sir?
1.2 million.
For all 7?
It's, because, they're
Yeah,
collective
so
needs.
It's not a full design of each campus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why we combine them as well. Because when we did the bond list of needs, so each campus, we selected the worst units out there that needed replacement at the time. And so each one is going to have maybe 2-3 units. So putting them together, the designated amount is about 1.2 million.
Okay.
And again, this is something on the engineer that the board would have to approve. And we can go off of the list that you've already pre-approved of engineers. And we can bring it to the board for your selection as well.
And what is the age? Like, I'd like to know, what is the age of the units? Because I know when we went out for the bond, we were looking at addressing all these units that were, past their lifespan. I don't kind of want to do patchwork. And I'm only thinking about future board members, future taxpayers. So, like, I don't want to do patchwork and say, well, let's only do 3 out of the 8 units or whatever the case may be. So like, what is the situation there since you're doing, like what you're describing? that
So
it's
I'll
just
give you an example.
minimum.
We have at Ibarra, we have the main HVAC system there, Ibarra is a chill water system for the classrooms. And so the center section was consists of the library, the dining space, and the office. We have packaged rooftop DX units. They're non-chill water. So some of those units are the ones that need replacement based on the wear and tear and the damage of the coils in the units. So that's how we select.
Okay. And what about the rest of the units that are up there?
So the rest of the units, at the time we generate the list, they still have some life in them. And
Okay.
the typical life for a DX unit is about 15 years or so, give or take. Nowadays, with materials that are being used and because of efficiency, we may drop that maybe 2-3 years down to 12 or so, but it's a give or take from there.
And is that according to the bond guidelines? Like, in other words, I just want to make sure that we're keeping our promise. So
Yeah, so the bond calls for us to do HVAC, and so we're just meeting our needs. Yes.
okay. I think I'd like still a report just to know, because like I said, if you have a 20-year unit, and I'm going to change these 5, but all these are still 20 plus years. The money's there to make sure that we set them up for at least a good 2 decades where that school doesn't even have to worry about it, especially if you have the funds and you already budgeted for it and that's what you wanted. So I think just a report on that would be nice. Some feedback there. And that pretty much answered a lot of my questions, because and then also the evaluation and scoring, that's for that section. Because all these other questions I don't have to ask, because we have to hire an engineer, and then you guys will do a design criteria package and all that once the board selects an engineer to
Right,
represent
so
us.
essentially, the way the process works is that we do an RFQ, and then the board, if the board so chooses, you interview the
Yes.
companies or the bidders. And then after that is a maximum of 5 that you can select or shortlist. And then we proceed with request for additional information. And then
RFP,
after that, we
two-step.
rank them.
Yeah. Then you do an RFP next.
Yeah, we can do an RFP for additional information and rank them based on the criteria designated in this RFQ.
And then for the evaluation and scoring safeguards, those are kind of, I made a little list of things that I saw when we were going through there, and I've been wanting to bring them up in the past, right? Because there's just things that sometimes bring concern, right? And we want a fair and equitable playing field here.
Absolutely.
And so I understand that they're going to be, like with bond monies, we want the public to trust us because we still got work to do. So, and I've discussed this with the board for the longest time and with every single superintendent that's been here. Because you still have a high school that needs to be looked at, right? That's there on Pike, and you got some other needs, Weslaco ISD upgrades to their structure. And so if we can execute this bond fairly and get our finances in order and our tax rate in the right place, in the future board members can go ahead and make a move to take care of those needs too. So, but for the scoring, evaluation and scoring for those committee members, one of the things I wanted to be looked at was the responses that they, pretty much how we do things, okay? I know that you guys already have these score sheets already provided to us. I know that we've asked that there be a monitor present, an independent monitor present, right? I know that I've always asked that we do silent scoring. I don't agree to give out a rubric and then modify from it as well. And that's part of the thing too, that the rubric is somewhat vague and sometimes causes concerns, like especially when I saw scores coming in and like one of them that Trustee Castillo pulled. And I remember I looked at it and I saw things that were concerning, because I understand that you have individual committee members, but for instance, number of similar projects. And if you have a company that says, well, they submitted 10, this submitted 5, this submitted 3, this one submitted 0, and then you see scores all 8. You see, that that's a red flag for me, because it's like, well, why did that committee members give everybody a score of 8? Because you pretty much just eliminated the value of that section, right? And that's a very important section. And so since your criteria is going to be minimal, your categories, and they're going to be broad. Like in your case, you have a few categories there and then a breakdown. Like for instance, I'm going to give you an example. You have one here, similar projects completed, 30 points, right? And so, but what constitutes 30? Like, in other words, almost like a forced, what they call it, like a forced rating. What constitutes 30 points? I don't want to leave it up to these 3 individuals to decide what's 30. We should tell them already, hey, if this company comes in with 15 plus years of experience, or related projects, 10-plus related projects, they should qualify for the 30 range, 25 to 30 range. And then this one's 20 to 25, or whatever case may be. Like, it's too broad and too open, where I don't think you'll have, I've seen for a fact that you don't have fair scores coming back, especially for a company that's been in business 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or working throughout the state of Texas, and for them to get a score of 8, the same of somebody who submitted 0, that's really like unfair, right, from a company
If I
standpoint.
may add, Mr. Los Santos, I know with the committees, it is vetted out before with the committee. They do have those discussions prior to the blind voting. You send it out to the committee. But again, it is discussed there.
Yeah.
And we look at all that and break it down, any questions that they have.
So as a trustee for myself and in respect to the taxpayers, and also to give, our students and our community the best value, I'd like to see that rubric before approving anything broken down even more with definition, a little bit more precise. 30 points for similar projects completed. I'd like that broken down into, well, you qualify, after so many. I mean, Ms. Ustaita is a business owner. Her company, her family's company's been in business for a long time. I'm gonna give you an example. In other business owners, you would want that option there, right? I don't want to be scored the same as somebody who has 5 years when I've had 20. Then we both get 30 points. So that criteria, I think, as a board member, I would ask for that if we were rating ourselves. I'd say, hey, to get 25 to 30 points, or whatever the case may be, you have to have so many years, and then so forth till you get to 0.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing that up, Mr. Los Santos. This is precisely, and you made the point for us, this is precisely where the engineer representative that we're going to hire comes in, and we rely on his expertise to help us and guide us throughout.
And the only reason I say that, sir, and I'm not trying to be smart in any way, is that we've already done projects and had engineer representatives there. And some of the categories are still broad. So just really emphasize that with whoever gets hired or whoever's listening, and from moving forward, like, I know every project I'm gonna request that.
Well, Mr. De Los Santos, another option is for us as the board to just pick them ourselves.
Yeah, I've always stated that
You would
too.
eliminate all that other stuff, and we
Right.
just pick it. We just pick whoever.
And with,
Well, there has to be a ranking, though.
I mean, well, yeah,
Yeah.
but he would probably feel a little bit more at ease because he gets to see all that, and that's another option. So we can make a
We started that way, but then it was reverted back to us.
yeah.
But you could always bring it back, and you can even have,
Right,
because
which I
even,
wouldn't mind actually.
I wouldn't mind either, but, because even at your committee, I'm sorry, man, even in your committee, like, where's the HVAC people? Because, and I'm not saying you all aren't qualified, right? I know you, but like, Ms. Rodriguez is there. I think you're listed as well, too. You're listed as well, and then a few others. But my thing is, where's like your HVAC personnel, or do you have anybody like that's head of the HVAC department or that team? Like, why aren't they on the list as well? So that's what kind of I was asking as well, too,
And so we
your
do-
makeup.
Yeah, we do get them involved from time to time, depending on the availability. Our HVAC technicians are foremen and so forth.
Right.
But going back to the board taking back the authority, there's already a standing approval by the board for the administration to rank all bond projects as a bond project, in which you have at your discretion, take back the authority, and you're able to do that, and then rank this project if you so choose. That's the other.
So we had already approved all the projects. It's not project by
You've
project.
approved for the administration to rank all
Yeah.
bond projects.
Because in the past, I know I went back and looked at old board meetings when you all were doing, all these different projects. Before 2019, and the board would meet and rank engineers, architects, companies, et cetera. And they had teamed up with staff as well, too.
For professional services, the board always hires and interviews and so forth, yes.
But this was construction back then. So the other thing I saw in there that was kind of concerning also, it said that, here, it said, where is it? That the people that were being submitted to rank, that they could also be swapped out or substituted, right? That kind of paragraph, kind of like, we're the board, we're authorizing you guys to do it. In the packet, you'll see there in the wording that you have the ability to do that and substitute people and change that group. And so I just feel uneasy with that, because then who are you going to put?
Well, and the reason that's in there is in the interest of time and to meet deadlines. If the people that are listed on there as the committee are not available, then we go to whoever's available that can help us out.
So I'd just like to put that, I mean, if the board wants to change and make a decision to jump in, which it is our responsibility, but we're handing it over to you all. But if they wanted to do that, whatever the majority decides, but for sure, I'd like the rankings, I mean, that rubric, to be more precise, and that way it's fair and equitable, and then, and accurate as far as evaluators. And then I'd also like to make sure that we don't swap out committee members, right? Because if you're already asking us for faith to, this is the list of people that are gonna be ranking, and we say yes, and then at the last minute we see, well, we swapped out 2 people and we put in so-and-so and so-and-so. I feel very uneasy with that. Because this is, and I know this is only $1 million, but now we're gonna be moving into even more projects, hopefully, so, yeah, just whatever the board decides.
So-
If you update the rubrics, then you would be okay with.
More
the-
comfortable? If
Yes.
they're more detailed?
Yes, more detail.
Compared to what I've been seeing, yes.
So can I make this motion then to keep it going?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Trustees, the determination of a procurement method of construction, I will make the motion to do the design build. And then, number 2, it says approve the criteria and points to be used. I don't know if we can still change it to something else.
As
or-
discussed?
As
With
discussed.
changes as discussed?
I make a motion with changes as discussed to approve the criteria when it is edited or revised or whatever.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Staita. Do you have a second?
Could I ask a quick, well, I'll second it, but could I ask a quick question? Is this gonna go off as one packet, or are we splitting up the projects?
No, it's one.
It's one.
Okay.
Yeah, because he said it was only $1 million, right?
All the
total?
seven
Yeah,
schools.
1.2, we budgeted 1.2.
When did we start seeing what's, Dr. Yvette, if we can get a presentation in the next board meeting too, as far as, because I don't know when people ask me, what is left? Like, like AC projects, campuses, et cetera, roofing, like, we should know that.
Yes.
You know, and that way we can start pushing
Like
that.
it was discussed this morning.
If we can have
We'll
that
do
for the
it,
next.
yes.
Okay. So I have a
All right.
motion by Mr. Staita, second by Mr. Ben Castillo. Any other questions or concerns?
Is that fine how I made the motion to approve the criteria later, after it's?
Well, yeah,
all-
because first we're gonna have an engineer, right? We're gonna, RFQ?
They can't bid it out until we have a rubric that's approved by the
Correct.
board.
Right.
Correct.
So who's gonna make the rubric? Mr. De Los Santos, would you like to make it and then share it with
No,
us?
they could bring it to us and then we could approve
Oh, I
it.
can if you want.
With the notes that we received,
ChatGPT,
then we'll
like that.
work on it, and if the board finds it acceptable, then we'll move forward with
And you
that.
guys are talking about the scoring matrix, right?
Correct.
That's what you mean by
Right,
rubric.
yeah,
correct.
just breaking down the scoring matrix from, instead of flat, broad 30, just put in,
More precise.
right, 20 to 30, 10 to 20,
Yeah,
things like
because right
that.
now it's just similar projects completed, 30. Personal qualifications, 30. References of design build firm, 20, and then project methodology, 20. So
Yeah,
it's
so,
just-
so today we're kind of just approving the procurement method and then you guys just bring us back a revised rubric for approval.
Correct.
We'll have it like a sliding scale, kind of having those.
That'd be great.
Maybe you can email him and let him know like
See?
things that.
No, that's perfect, that's what that's what, sliding scale was the term I was looking for.
Yeah,
That's right on the
sliding
money. Thank you.
All right, so I have a motion by Mr. Staita, second by Mr. Ben Castillo.
Yes, sir.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Let's continue. Item 13. Closed meeting, 13A1, discussion regarding superintendent's recommendations of contracts for certified professional, non-certified professional, and non-contractual personnel. 13A2, discussion regarding resignations, retirement of certified professional, non-certified professional, and non-contractual personnel. And 13A3, discussion of superintendent's evaluation. Also 13B1, pending or contemplated litigation. 13B2, settlement offer, or 13B3, matter in which the duty of the attorney of the Wesco Independent School District under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code 551071. It is 8:13, and we will go into executive session. just need, but it is 8:56, and we reconvene an open meeting. Possible action if necessary on item discussed in closed meeting. 14.8.1, discussion and possible action regarding superintendent's recommendation of contract for certified professional, non-certified professional, and non-contractual personnel. Dr.
Recommend approval? Move to approve?
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Coach Cuer, second by Coach Serna. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 14.8.2, discussions, possible action regarding resignations, retirements of certified professional, non-certified professional, and non-contractual personnel. Dr. Rivera.
You have the list. I'm recommending approval. Move to approve?
We have a motion by
Second.
Coach Cuer and second by Mr. De Los Santos. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 14.8.3, discussion and possible action on superintendent's evaluation. Something we discussed, his evaluation, especially after all the scores and all the distinctions and so forth. I will be meeting with Dr. Rivera to go over the evaluation. Again, every year we have an evaluation on Dr. Rivera, and he's done a very good job. And so the summative evaluation will reflect that. And I'll discuss with Dr. Rivera on the comments that each board member made, and then we'll move forward.
Thank you.
Motion to approve, sir.
We have a motion by Mr. Ben Castillo.
Second.
Second by Coach Cuer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, it is 8:58, and we adjourn.